Welcome, everyone. We have several registrations and participants, both from
47.
Portugal. Yes, there are 140 registrations, so I will expect they will be joining us during the morning. We have participants from Greece, from Portugal, and from several other countries. So I welcome you all. Carlos Isate to Greece. I'm very pleased to be here this morning with my co-host, Professor Wazidou, for this LIFE project workshop. I would like to just say a few words about this project. It has started in late 2016, and it's been going on for 5 years now. It's a LIFE co-funded project. And we are, the Polytechnic Institute of Coimbra is the coordinator. And we have the valuable contribution of the National Technical University of Athens, from the University of Aveiro. And our most important beneficiaries in this project are the 5 municipalities that are implementing pay-as-you-throw in their territories. So today we will have the opportunity of seeing the work that has been done. This will be the second session, but in the first session we will have the opportunity to speak or to hear about waste and circular economy. And then in the last session we will move to some more general impacts and results of our project, in addition to the work done by the municipalities. So I would like to thank for all of you for participating, and now I pass the floor to Professor Wazidou to also say a few words.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning to the coordinators of the project and all the participants. I'm really excited that we come today together to present our work for this project, the LIFE-PAYT project, which was a quite, I would say, a project with a lot of challenges, but finally I think we're hitting our target. I thank the people that are with us today to participate in this meeting and make this meeting successful. And of course, I will have the chance to welcome them during the panel meetings. We, as the National Technical University of Athens, we work very closely with the LIFE projects, and we were very glad that we share with our colleagues our experience, and also we gain from their experience and the problems they face in their countries. It's one-way road. We have to follow the pay-as-you-throw schemes, and I think this LIFE project, eventually the LIFE program that is always supporting these activities, we can push to the market the project. And I don't want to take more of the time because we have to move, but the experience through Cyprus, Greece, Portugal, and also from our experience in other countries, we really take this project as a basis to assist in the development of the pay-as-you-throw principles in other municipalities. We have to think about the circular economy. This is a hot topic that is included in our program today. And we develop a lot in our university. We have in our courses now the circular economy now. I have a lot of my postgraduate students attending this conference today. Instead of giving them lectures, it coincides with my lectures, so they are attending this. And we pass this to our courses as well. So eventually you have to build on the new generation how to push things forward. Now I don't want to take more of the time. I would like to move, and I think you do take the floor, Celia, first, and then we can continue. We're a bit early, but it's okay.
No, it's okay. I think you put it very nicely. Thank you also for being here, and it's a pleasure to share this session together with you. So I'll just leave it to the first session, and you have the floor now. Thank you.
Okay, I consult my notes here. We have the first session, that is Western Circular Economy. I will be the moderator, and with us we have very distinguished persons that they know circular economy inside outside. First, it's George Kremlis, which I would like to thank him for taking some of this valuable time. And I know, Mr. Kremlis, that you are very, very busy. To say a few words about Mr. Kremlis. Good morning, George. And I will say that George is been supporting NTUA for many, many years, from the time he was in the commission and then now back to Greece. He's really very active on and he makes us think in the legal way, not only the engineering way. And thanks, George, again, because you brought us the necessity of bringing the policies into our work. We are a technical university, mainly engineering, but the meetings and the discussions with you really make a brainstorming to bring in all the policies in our work. George Kremlis is currently principal advisor of the Greek Prime Minister on energy, climate, environment, and circular economy issues. He's also the chairman of the coordination unit established by the decision of the Prime Minister to support the Greek initiative at UN level, aiming to protect cultural heritage and the monuments of nature from climate change, which is very important, of course. He is honorary director of the European Commission. He is also a member of the board of the European Public Law Organization and a member of the Environmental and Social Advisory Councils of the EBRD. He is also currently the chair of the Bureau of the ESPO Convention and of the Sea Protocol, chair of the MOP in 2019, chair of the MOP in December 2020, and he was re-elected as chair for the next intersessional period up to 2023. He has also served as a member of the board of the National Center for Environment and Sustainable Development in Greece, and as a member of the Greek Regulatory Authority of Energy. He is a founding and honorary president of the Hellenic Environmental Law Association. Mr. Kremlis, the floor is yours to give us a speech about a look into the future of West and circular economy in the EU.
Thank you very much, Professor Loizidou. Good morning, everyone. I'm very, very pleased to be part of this important seminar, and I would like also to thank Professor Ferreira, and of course to praise this emblematic LIFE project on pay as you throw. LIFE as the financial instrument for the environment has played and is playing a very important role in raising awareness, in promoting best practice, and in developing links to share this best practice with the view to implementing it. And in that respect, this project is really an emblematic one. Congratulations to the organizers and to the participants of this important project. Now, circular economy and waste management. Circular economy, as you all know, is currently the new economic model. I would say an emblematic priority of the European Union, which encompasses the three pillars priorities of the European Union, namely green growth with all its important components, among which the EU taxonomy regulation and green financing. Second pillar, green blue economy, which is extremely important for all the countries participating in this project, as they are also marine countries, and digital economy, which is the third pillar and which is also mainstreamed in all the other pillars. In reality, we should be speaking about circular digital green growth, circular digital blue economy, as all these pillars are interconnected and implement each other. And of course, circularity and circular economy is mainstreamed in all the other policies of the European Union. Now, waste management is a key component of circular economy, and in the minds of a lot of people, when you talk about circular economy, they think immediately about waste management. It is true, because waste in the concept of circular economy should not be waste anymore. The cradle to grave approach does not or should not exist anymore, because what is in terms of a product in the grave in reality is a new start, and the grave and the cradle are connected in the circle of the circular economy, which now is substituted to the linear economy model, which if it were to be continued, it would lead to needing 2 planets by 2040 and 3 planets by 2050, according to scientific data. So the new approach is a zero waste approach, and it is an approach which leads to a new, let's say, way of managing and thinking about waste, which at the end of their life should become raw materials or secondary products. And of course, the pyramid of the waste hierarchy is always there, with the top, the prevention, then the reuse, then the recycling, then the recovery, and the disposal at the very end. And the new Waste Framework Directive of 2018, which has amended the 2008 Framework Directive, foresees that waste disposal should be limited to 10% by 2035. Unfortunately, in several of our member states, including mine, waste landfilling is still very, very high, while by 2035, as I have mentioned before, it should progressively be reduced, and then by that date not exceed 10%. And of course, the new targets of the Waste Framework Directive as amended are extremely important, because already by 2020, the preparation for reuse and recycling of waste materials, such as the 4 streams: paper, metal, plastic, and glass from households, had to be increased to a minimum of overall 50% by weight. Unfortunately, very few of our member states have reached this target by 2020, which is already in the past. And the same target for non-hazardous construction and demolition waste for 2020 was of minimum 70% by weight. Now, the new targets, which are extremely important to know, is that by 2025, that is to say in almost 4 years from now, the preparing for reuse and the recycling of municipal waste shall be increased to a minimum of 55%, then 60% for 2030, and 65% by weight by 2035, which are much more ambitious targets that the European Commission will monitor, and which, if not met, will lead to infringement procedures that the European Commission will open against the non-compliant member states. The rules and calculation methods for verifying the compliance with these targets can be found in a Commission decision 2011/753 EU. And there are additional rules for calculation, verification, and reporting of data on waste in accordance with the new directive, which can be found in another Commission decision 2019/1004. There is also a guidance document that was provided by the Commission on Municipal Waste Data Collection. All this information is available on the web and can be easily consulted. Now, the Waste Framework Directive enshrines the polluter pays principle, which is extremely important, the extended producer responsibility, and of course, the separate collection at source, as it is extremely important to separately collect the waste streams, and the more they are, the better it is, as this leads to clean secondary products or raw materials that can be easily reused and or recycled without any additional information that would have been the result of a commingling process where you would need, for example, detergents or hot water to wash them, to separate them again, which requires energy. And therefore, this would have an additional footprint in terms of energy, but also in terms of time wasted. Therefore, separate collection streams at source with the support of IT technologies and digital economy are extremely important. And in that respect, the economic instruments have a prominent importance. This is why the pay-as-you-throw principle, which is promoted as a best practice through your LIFE project, constitutes an extremely important instrument to promote sorting at source, to promote, let's say, an individual new culture at the level of the households and of all of us as citizens to reduce our environmental, climate, and energy footprint, and contributes to less waste and to waste of better quality as it is sorted, a process that is rewarded through the pay-as-you-throw scheme and through digital economy schemes that are to be promoted as digital economy supports and is perfectly combined with circular economy. I wanted to add the importance of the separate collection of bio-waste, which and organic waste and waste of the supermarkets, which has expired in terms of validity expiry date. A very important source, as if they are collected together with our other streams of waste, they contaminate them. I put this in inverted commas. If they are separately collected, they can lead to feed, that is to say food for animals, to biogas, to biofuels, and of course to compost of very good quality. And the Professor Maria Loizidou and the Technical University of Athens is promoting all these new technologies to manage bio-waste, organic waste, and of course waste from agriculture and from the forests in the most, let's say, circular economy driven way. which is extremely important. And a last consideration is that the possibility and the means, the scheme of the DRS, deposit and refund scheme, is also promoted. In Greece, we will introduce DRS deposit and refund scheme on plastic, aluminium and glass by 2024. This will ensure, in combination with the pay-as-you-throw, a very good way of collecting separately recyclables, namely glass, plastic and aluminium, in a clean way that will boost recycling through the economic instrument of the DRS, which is extremely important. And I close this presentation by saying that in the new programming period 2021-2027, the European Union will not co-finance any more mechanical and biological treatment plants. That is to say, big waste management installations which will receive and manage unsorted waste. It will promote separate collection schemes. It will promote specific instruments such as pay-as-you-throw. Digital economy means to boost separate collection and support the waste hierarchy. Schemes to promote the DRS to exploit bio-waste and produce a new green energy source from biomass. These will be the priorities of the next programming period. And of course, last but not least, as the highest target is the one of 65%, to which if you add 10% on landfilling, you have a 75%. There is still room for a 25% of waste, which refers to the unsorted or to the residual waste, which can produce electricity in a waste to energy process. This is important also to keep in mind, as there are new technologies provided within this fraction. There are no recyclables, as recyclables cannot go to waste to energy processes. These are some general considerations that I wanted to share with you, dear all. And as unfortunately I have very soon to connect to another meeting, our life has completely changed with these online meetings. I would be very happy if there are any questions to which I could reply. In any case, Professor Loizidou, Professor Ferreira, if there are any other questions later on during the course of this seminar, I would be happy to reply to them in writing. And of course, I would like to wish you a lot of success in this project and in the dissemination of the results of this project, which I believe will be extremely important for us and for the implementation of our legislation. Recently, Greece has adopted the transposing legislation of the amended Waste Framework Directive. The pay-as-you-throw principle is there as a principle, but we need now to see how it will be implemented through joint ministerial decisions. And in that respect, you will enlighten us through the best practice that you are promoting through this important LIFE project. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, George. Thank you for this excellent speech, and always reminding us the targets we have to meet, and we are so far from these targets. And Europe is pushing, and it's so difficult for all of us to follow, but we have to make a great effort. The legal instruments are there, and we have to push the municipalities always. I'm talking about the municipalities. What is the basis we can make a start, and we can really hit the target that they are imposed for many years now, but and to avoid all these penalties and then the fines we pay to the European Union. Greece is really one of those countries, is not the only one that is really paying these penalties. Thank you once again for taking the time, and we'll send you. I don't see any questions, but probably they will come through, and we will let you know. Thanks again for joining us, and I may make sure that we get all the results of this conference today, or this meeting today. Thank you, George. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, and I wish you a successful meeting. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Now we continue with our second speaker, which is Cesar Seonaes. Sorry about the pronunciations, Cesar.
No problem.
Cesar, we are going to have you all the way through for the other projects, I think. Now, Cesar is a project manager at the European Climate Infrastructure and Environmental Executive Agency, the known SINEA agency, for the LIFE program. He's responsible for a portfolio of actions supported in the circular economy and quality of life sector under the LIFE program. Actions are mostly focused on the improvement of the management of the waste, which means avoidance, reusability, recyclability of different waste streams, and involve beneficiaries from Belgium, Germany, Greece, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, and Sweden. And also, I'm really glad to see that you are the coordinator of the LIFE integrated projects in the environment sub-program, which thanks, we got this project for Cyprus, and we are going to support Cyprus for that. The floor is yours, and you can talk us about the LIFE projects on circular economy and waste. In the LIFE program, once again, I will put a strength that is supporting greatly these initiatives and the protection of environment. We've been working with the LIFE program for many years. It gave us the way up to develop technologies and to get the innovation through. And thanks again, the LIFE program for giving us this opportunity to do a work. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Loizidou. Yeah, so good morning to everybody. I'm very happy and honored to be here in this event. I'm now sharing my screen. I hope that you can see it. If you could confirm, it would be nice. Do you see, Mr. Loizidou? Can you confirm that it's okay?
Yes, we see it. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Excellent. Okay, yeah. So yeah, from my side. Well, I was 2 days ago in the final monitoring visit to the project LIFE-PAYT, yeah, coordinated by Professor Ferreira. And well, I am just very pleased to be here because I know the project LIFE-PAYT, and it's a very good example of LIFE project. They did an enormous amount of work, and they have delivered, and they are still delivering some very useful outputs that you will later in this day be able to see, that I think will help greatly in Portugal, Greece, and hopefully other countries to make the transition to this kind of pay-as-you-throw schemes that are not easy at all to implement, as any change, any big change is. But yeah, so just once again, Professor Ferreira, is my warm congratulations, and to all the team for the excellent job done. So now I will present to you from the side of the LIFE program, which is managed by the agency SINEA, where I am working. And I will structure my presentation in 3 parts. The first one is LIFE support to circular economy. So just a bit overview of what has been done until now. And then I will be more practical. I will focus on what do we have now to offer you, audience, and potential requesters of grants to implement projects as nice as this LIFE-PAYT, what we have to offer you. So yeah, the program LIFE is one of the old programs of the European Union. it is the only one, or the main one, which is focused to support financially initiatives on environment and climate. This is the focus of this program. In the case of environment sub-program, where the projects dealing with waste management and circular economy to a large extent fall, it focuses on projects covering the gap between research and large scale or commercialization. That intermediate stage, which sometimes is not easy to pass. And well, that's for the so-called traditional project, or now standard adoption projects. But there are also other projects as well that I will talk about later. But yeah, this is the main focus. And one of the main features that we have to keep in mind is that during the years, more and more, the LIFE program is focused on or asks the applicants to deliver clear environmental benefits at the end of the projects and to have a potential for good impact. So far, the program has financed around 5,000 projects. Going more to the circular economy and waste, well, there you can see a nice colorful graph with all kinds of figures for different sectors. So since 1992, we have financed around 700 projects in this field. And in the last programming period, in the last 7 years, we invested around 945 million into projects supporting, into 215 projects supporting circular economy. So for more information, if you want to see a little bit, for example, good examples of projects besides this one of LIFE-PAYT, and to see an overview in more detail of what LIFE has done to promote circular economy and projects in this field, I invite you to go to the link below. I hope that you will for sure receive the presentation after this workshop, to click in that link, and you will see a lot of publications. So now for the new period, that is in 2021 to 2027, the LIFE program has received a big boost in financing. So it passed from 3.4 to 5.4 billion euros. The main novelties are, well, first, the incorporation, and the main one is maybe this one down in the bottom. I know you see the clean energy transition sub-program in the middle. That was a program that was before within the Horizon 2020, but given its clear environmental scope, it was decided now to incorporate it into as part of LIFE. And then we have the other three main strands: nature and biodiversity, circular economy and quality of life, and climate mitigation and adaptation. For the topic of our session, the main one is this one, circular economy and quality of life. But I have to say that there may be also some potential to submit projects related to cleaner technologies, for example, within the scope of that may have an impact in the circular economy as well, within the scope of the climate mitigation strand, for example, or even the clean energy transition one. But to a large extent, the second one is the main one: circular economy and quality of life. Now, for this program, in this period, we have 1.3 billion euros. And we cover areas such as these ones: recovery of resources from waste. So we're asking for innovative solutions to support value-added recycled materials or components of products. Then for circular economy also, projects which aim at reducing or preventing resource use and generation of waste. And also, so those two are the main areas, let's say, related to today. But again, there are other areas which where you may propose projects which deal with circular economy and waste, and which are also relevant for priorities which are maybe named as chemicals or environmental governance in our calls. So you have to read carefully the priority areas that we have in order to see where your potential project would fit. Oh, what's new in this period? As I said, there is an increasing focus on implementation and impacts. Then also there is in the area of waste and resource efficiency, where we are going, as also Professor Kremlis was mentioning, more to circularity. So we are trying to go more to upstream solutions like prevention versus the downstreams, which is okay, now that we have all the waste with us, what do we do with it? And then as a practical and attractive aspect, we are covering more the costs that are related to investments in assets. So previously we were only covering, maybe if you were making a new technology and building some machine to recycle. Then if it was not a prototype machine, but something more commercial, then we were covering only a small part of the cost, namely the depreciation. Well, now, in principle, if it will be used for the same purpose during its lifetime, then we can cover a larger fraction of it, of the costs. So in this period, what are the main kinds of projects that we can finance? The main one, let's say, is the standard action projects that are the inheritors of the previously so-called traditional projects. So typically for example, development of new technologies, but also, for example, governance solutions. There we have, every year we have a call of more or less 100 million euros budget. I will give you more details later. But before going to that part, I want also to mention these strategic integrated projects, which is another branch of projects, which are larger ones, are typically aimed more or led by public authorities, because what are they? They are projects that are aimed not to do something by themselves only, but more to also coordinate and catalyze, facilitate the interaction between the different authorities and stakeholders that have funding and means to implement some plans or strategies, like waste management plans, for example, that implement the European legislation. So for these projects, we have, as said, a list of potentially eligible strategies that should be targeted. And among them, there are national or regional circular economy action plans, strategy roadmaps, or similar. And for the side of waste, we have national and regional waste management plans or waste prevention programs in line with the corresponding articles of the Waste Framework Directive. What are the characteristics relevant for you maybe to know is that we provide a 60% of co-financing. The typical grants that we provide for these projects are between 10 and 20 million euros, and the duration of these projects is typically between 6 and 10 years. And the mechanics of the call is that we have again an annual call with approximately 52 million euros. And it is a two-stage process for the application. So first, you have to submit just a smaller document, a concept note. So we make a first filter. And then if you are invited to the second stage, then you have to prepare really the full proposal. So that was it for the integrated projects. Now coming back to the standard action projects. Here I give you the example of the call that, well, now is closed, the 2021 call, but characteristics will be similar in coming years. The budget of this call, 100 million euros, projects covering innovation, also best practices. This is also an important point maybe to highlight. It is also a change with respect to the previous period, is that we are more open to best practice projects, not only of projects of highly innovative character, but also best practice projects. In the fields of waste management and circular economy, let's say that in the priority areas that we have, we always specify whether we ask explicitly for more innovative projects, or if we don't mention innovative in the phrasing of in the call document, then it means that we are more open to just best practices, which are maybe not so innovative, but that will contribute to, for example, replicate, upscale some good practices that are in place already in the market. So the co-financing rate, same, 60%. Maximum duration of these projects is 10 years duration. Well, typically the projects are shorter, like between 3 and 5 or something like that. The grants that we are giving, there is not a prefixed amount, as also is the case for the other projects, for the integrated projects, but it's between typically 0.5 and 5 million. And in this case, the procedure to submit a proposal is not in 2 steps, it's just directly 1 step. You have to submit the full proposal and that's it. And well, the deadline for submission for this call, it was the 30th of November, so just closed. And you can find all the info about the calls that we have in this link, and there, I think it's a key link for you from this presentation. Before I go on, also for your knowledge, the 2022 call will be launched in principle, if everything goes as planned, in the mid of May next year. Okay, so we will return little by little to our initial calendar as in previous years. Now more into the areas of interest from the side of the LIFE program related to circular economy and waste. I will not go into details because there is here, as you can see, quite a lot. A first remark is that, okay, we have priority areas which are stated in the call document, but that doesn't mean that if you present a project, a proposal which is not exactly fitting one of our priorities as listed here, that it will not be selected or will be automatically excluded. No, so that's not the idea. So if you have a project that you see that is going to bring a change in the fields, for example, of waste management or in circular economy, and it doesn't fit there, don't worry. I mean, you present it. The important thing also, as you see, is that we look for impacts. And yeah, maybe it will be a little bit penalized in the scoring of one of the award criterion, the one on relevance. But as said, I mean, if it has a big impact, that will be fully compensated in the scoring. So go ahead. So in the case of waste, we have 2 main points. One is related to the recycling of different waste streams. Here we are asking for innovative solutions. So here, yeah, we look for innovations. But again, innovation, here we are relatively relaxed about or soft in the way that we evaluate innovation. So it's not needed that it is an innovation at worldwide scale. It can be just an innovation in your own country. So for example, a waste management technology that is already started to be implemented in Denmark, for example, but you want to implement it in Greece. Okay, pues that would be considered as innovative. Then another, the bottom point there, as you can see, is also innovative solution. In this case, is related to the dealing of waste containing hazardous substances. Now going to the next, the other big chapter related to this workshop is circular economy. So we have this priority area. And as you can see here, we don't mention the word innovation. We are not requesting innovative solutions. So here it can be best practices. So by best practice, we mean, for example, it can even be if there is just a state-of-the-art solution in a given field. So it's just starting to be implemented at small scale in your own country and maybe also in your own sector, but not fully deployed. So there you can, I mean, it would be considered as fitting in this priority area. So and here, well, you can see that we have different kind of solutions. I will not go into details. I mean, you can see it later. I don't want to make a lot of the presentation. Then besides that, we have these kind of environmental governance projects, which are not about so much developing technologies, but building capacity, raising awareness, establishing some steps in the system for public authorities. The funding for this kind of projects is rather low, I have to say. The competition is high. So, for example, in this call this year, we have just an amount of like 5 million euros, so like for between 3 to 5 projects. But well, that there is that chance. And it includes aspects which are also relevant for the waste management and circular economy. So as you can see here, for example, development of voluntary approaches and decision making. So support of initiatives to develop synergies, reduce administrative burden for certain plans, for the implementation of certain plans and programs. Among those, the ones that are relevant for you. Yeah. Then also we have this other area which is related to voluntary instruments and approaches to reduce environmental impact of products, activities and services. So for example, related to environmental footprint and eco-labeling, green and circular public procurement promotion. So this is also a field of support that we support. And finally, also within the governance area, we have awareness support to behavioral change and awareness raising activities and covering one of the fields of interest for sure is related to the implementation of the Circular Economy Action Plan. So all of these are areas of interest that we fund. I just would like to mention that we are always encouraging potential applicants to do so. Please feel free now to ask me questions. Yeah, and well, maybe also just to mention that now we just closed, no, 30th of November was the closure date of the 2021 call for SAP environment. And one of the main areas where we have received a lot of proposals, quite a number, it has been precisely the areas of circular economy and resource efficiency. So indeed, it's high on the agenda of everyone, yeah, as one can see. So thank you very much. And yeah, if there is any question.
Thank you, Cesar, for this extensive presentation of the LIFE program. I think the participants can have a very good idea now what's going on with the LIFE program. And for us, even we are working on this, it was a very good presentation to refresh our memories. And of course, the deadline just passed, but there is also another call coming up next year. I don't see any questions. Thank you so much for this excellent speech. And we will consult you if we have problems and questions, so we can give answers to the panel, to the participants. Thank you so much for your participation with us today. I know you are not available, but being with us today, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, and now I wish you all the best for the rest of the event. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. Δεν θα κάνω accept. I hope you can hear me, you can see me. Yes, I'm going to talk very quickly because we have a bit of short of time. Although I prepare a lengthy presentation, I'm going to talk about circular economy and waste management, our experience, NTUA experience on innovative systems that we developed throughout the years with NTUA. NTUA is one of the oldest universities of Greece. It's only engineering disciplines. So we have 9 faculties, quite a lot of staff, and I will say that is the most prestigious university of Greece. I am in the chemical engineering department, and I developed the unit of environmental science and technology, where we have a great expertise in areas of waste management, wastewater, eco-designs, desalination brines, pollution and environmental control, climate change, but also we have tools like life cycle assessment and analysis, the integrated product policy, decision support systems, environmental impact assessment. So we use all these instruments to develop our work. And I'm going to go through the project. But why you do this? Each year in Europe, we are spending a lot of resources. We generate a lot of waste, 2.7 billion tons a year, and 40% of it is reused. The rest is really goes down to the landfill or partly incinerated. Europe is very short of resources. We import 3 times the amount we need. So there is no sustainability. That's why we are moving through the circular economy to save our resources. So we abandon the linear economy. We have to move in circles. We don't use the materials, take them, make products, to use the products and dispose. We have to reuse them. At my university, I teach my students how to move in a circular economy model and resource efficiency through eco designs, how to manufacture, distribute, use the product and avoid the landfilling of the materials, and then you use it as a secondary material to produce the new products. Of course, European Union has imposed us an ambitious package of circular economy in December 2015. But of course, on that, it builds continuously how we're going to develop circular economy in Europe and in our countries. On the other hand, we have the United Nations Agenda for 2030. We have the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and circular economy is among those goals. It covers quite a lot of SDGs, but also we have the Paris Agreement for the climate. Now, we have the key actions areas for the circular economy: production, consumption, waste management, secondary raw materials recovery. And of course, through these key action areas, we have to have innovation, investment, and monitoring. And coming to the priority sectors, so we have plastics, food waste, construction and demolition waste, critical raw materials, biomass and bio-based products. But we just saw from Caesar's presentation that more are coming into the LIFE program. But we have to follow the waste management hierarchy, and the waste management hierarchy, it means avoidance of waste, reuse of waste, recycle, waste to energy, and disposal of waste. This is the Bible. This is what we have to follow. And of course, in the EU, we now see what we reached and what we have to do by 25 and what we have to do by 2030. Countries are not so ready, but we have to follow the EU legislation, and George Kremlis emphasized a lot on that. These are the revision targets for the different materials. You can have a presentation if you want. I cannot really do a lot of that. But we have to remember that by 2030, we can only landfill 10%, and also we have to reduce food waste by 30% till 2025, and by 50% 2030. So these are the big targets that we have to meet. And this is the picture of the EU. The red lines show that we do a lot of landfilling. And countries like our country has a lot of landfilling. This is unacceptable, but also Portugal has quite a lot, and we have to make great efforts to reach the targets. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the priority sectors that I mentioned earlier. And we cover a lot of projects that they are on packaging materials, but also on organic waste, food waste, and biomass. So I'm going to start with the food waste that we have to decrease, and we have to make use. A picture that we have here shows that developing economies waste 40% of the food during the first 2 steps of the value chain: production, handling, processing, distribution, consumption. While developed economies waste 40% of food during the last 2 steps of the value chain: which means the distribution and consumption. We consume a lot, and I'm talking about the developed economies that we have to take care. Developing economies are much harder to take measures, but they have to do so. What is the size of food waste problem in the world? You see the picture on my right-hand side. If the food waste was a country and a continent, it will be the third continent to have gas emissions, greenhouse gas emissions. China is the first, US the second, and food waste is the third. So you can see the big problem globally. 1 billion tons of food waste is wasted, which feed 3 billion people. The emissions of greenhouses are huge. And of course, the water we consume and the land we consume. I'm going to avoid this, and I come back to the thing that we have to make steps towards the bioeconomy. And we just talk about circular economy, bioeconomy, and we have to develop the biorefineries to meet the bioeconomy concept. It's not only circular economy in the sense that we have to do circular economy. We have to move towards the bioeconomy, and this is our target, to use bio-waste and all the organic materials to create products. I start with the LIFE program, the Athens Bio-Waste, which gave us a chance to bring the municipalities of 2 municipalities, Athens and Kifisia, into a program to do recycling as source of bio-waste, food waste. So we started our demo project from a quite very rich area, Kifisia, and develop a program that we go door to door to collect the bio-waste. We gave to the houses a small bin of 10 liters, and then we put outside the private, if it's a high building, we put a bigger bin, a brown bin, and if it's just one house, a smaller bin, and then specially designed truck collects this waste. And on the other side, we had Athens, which is a highly populated area, difficult to do all these things, but we managed pretty well. And what I would say here that, again, we gave the same different size of bins according to the needs. And we need to do a lot of awareness. If you don't do awareness, forget it, it's not going to succeed. And source recycling of bio-waste is a must in order to avoid, and I will say that we meet the pay-as-you-throw principle. These are our teams. And we used to take this bio-waste to the main facility, the plant that we have for treating mixed waste. We got one channel. It was devoted for our work, work that we separate the source. And then we produce a very nice compost compared to the one that we obtained from the mixed recycled material. It was day and night difference. So avoid the mixed waste and can recover compost. You cannot sell it. It's not a product. It's still a waste. Another project that we developed and we thought that it will help the houses is to have a small dryer in the house to dry waste. I think this project was a very successful project, and the people who really use this dryer, when I remove it away, they did wanted to keep it permanently in their houses. What was our aim? To get raw material. This dry material doesn't decompose, doesn't smell, and we can use it anytime we like. And the next step for us, it was to develop a project, the Waste to Bio project, to use this dry material and develop other products. We don't want to just develop compost. And this is a demo, a pilot that we have in our lab. And this is the process diagram. We use household waste, and then we produce fuel. We produce bioethanol, and we produce also biomethane, and of course, compost. So this is a process we have, and we are improving on that process. Just to tell you that we produce from 1 ton of wet bio waste, 34 liters of ethanol. We produce energy and also digestate that can be used as fertilizer. And now from this digestate, we recover nutrients. We build up a biorefinery to recover a lot of materials. The second step was to remove all the oil from this feedstock, the dried feedstock, to remove the oil, and through hexane solvent, we managed to remove quite a lot of oil because our food contains a lot of oil. And then from this oil, we make the biodiesel. And again, instead of getting only ethanol, we get on top 24 liters of biodiesel from 1 ton of waste. And again, we get the digestate, we get the energy and all the nutrients. And this project now runs in our technological park of Athens at the NTUA facilities. We are building it right now. It is going to be a huge facility in the technological park. It's containerized, everything will be containerized. Early 22, the system will be in place. It's a big demo using a lot of organic waste separated at source. And this is the way we develop our technologies to go up the ladder. And now we brought quite a lot of projects, Horizon and Life, that we really mature our technologies. And of course, it's not only best practices, but we develop innovation at the university as well. So now we are very high at the level that this can go to the market. These are the steps we follow. Bear in mind that all the materials we are using, most of the materials come out of fossil fuels. And you can see the fossil fuel as the primary petroleum, as the raw material. And all these secondary materials are created, the platforms, the intermediate products, and then the final product. We want to change that picture. Instead of using petroleum, we want to use starch, we want to use cellulose, biomass feedstock to create all the new products that we are using and get away from fossil fuel, so the CO2 emissions will be green, and that this is the target. That's why we develop all these bioeconomy, biorefinery concepts and projects through the Life Support Program. And you can see on this picture that the green sign arrow gives the commercial stage of the products, and the orange gives that not a lot of products are still in the market. So we need a lot of work to make bio-based products from waste biomasses, and we have to work a lot on these innovative systems to bring products into the market. There are challenges for scaling one of the technologies for the SMEs. We need enhanced skills. We need social acceptance, how people can accept products from waste. And also we need a lot of investment. All these have to be solved. And now I'm going to give you also some good examples. I think the time is nearly over. I think I will stop here because we have developed not only on bio-waste, but also on the packaging waste. We develop in islands projects that we can do separate collection of bio-waste, or packaging waste, and also a collection of bio-waste, the green. And on an island, we can really minimize the waste, less than 10%. So you can see a community composting system that we developed through this project, and also the recycling of materials. These are the composting systems. And also we have developed green corners through a LIFE project. These are our corners that the people can bring their waste and can be really separated. We haven't operated in the green corner, and these are the systems now we have on some islands, recycle points, and they are doing pretty well. We get nearly 100% of all recycled materials. And I think I will stop here, but I have to tell you that apart from waste, we are working on wastewater, but what kind of wastewater? That creates a lot of solids. The salt brine project is a project that treats the brines from desalination in Spain and in South Europe. We have a lot of desalination. We shouldn't throw the brine back to the sea. And what we do, we recover this brine and we make products in a circular model. We recover 90% of the water, so don't throw anything into the sea. It's a zero liquid discharge. We use solar energy for everything. This is our system. And I showed some pictures of that. You can see all the system. I will tell you that this project in 2017 got the first prize out of 4,500 projects in Europe. And this is the commissioner and the director general of DG Environment that gave us the award. I am here with my team. And, I think this is the way forward to recover all the valuable materials also from the brines, the industrial, but nearly solid waste. So along that line, the brine lines, we have a lot of projects, and the way we move up with the waste, the solid waste, now we move with the water, the waste that is created from water to recover materials, and we mature our TRL, and we have a lot of projects. I'm not going to talk about this project. Now we have the demo all over the world. In Europe, I will say that these are the demos we have. I'm coming to my last presentation that I would like to invite you to the Corfu 2022 International Conference, the 9th International Conference on Sustainable Solid Waste Management that we really organize every year in Greece. It's an international. This year was virtual, but we hope that next year it will be physical, and I invite you all to be with us next year. And thank you for your attention. I think I'm just on time, Celia, 12:10. If there is a simple question, I could take it quickly.
Hello. Yes.
Sorry, I pushed the time so much.
No, it's perfect, Maria. It's perfect on time. We are running smooth as a clock. I don't see any questions, but I would like to know, where is it possible to see all these projects and all these ideas that you have been developing over the years?
Of course, we have them. We keep our, yes, we have our demos now. They are operated full scale in some areas.
Okay, but do you have like a website so that people can?
The websites are all for all my projects are yes, are active. Yes.
Okay, so maybe if you could write in the chat for everybody a webmail, not a webmail, a web page, so that if people want to learn more about these projects and what has been done, maybe they can go there and have a look.
Yes, okay? Thank you. I will do so right now. Okay, thank you, Celia. You take the floor to be the next moderator.
Thank you very much, Maria, for your contribution to this workshop. And I will be joining you again later in the last session. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye bye. So now we move on to our second session. That is about, it's called a special view for special territories. And the idea of this session is that the 5 municipalities that are involved in LIFE-PAYT project and that are the protagonists in this project, they show to everybody what they have been doing. And for this purpose, I have invited them to make a small video of the project implementation at their municipalities, and they will share the video with us. And then, of course, you can ask some questions. You just need to raise your hand. It's on the bottom of your screen. There is this sign, and you can ask questions after the presentation, but you can just press the button during the presentation. So we have 5 municipalities. We have 3 municipalities in Portugal: Aveiro, Condeixa Nova, and Lisbon. And then we have 1 municipality in Cyprus, which is Larnaca, and one municipality in Greece, that is Vrilicia. So I would like to invite Paula Lopes from Aveiro municipality. Welcome, Engenheira Paula.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, Paula Lopes is responsible for the Municipal Environmental Services of Aveiro City Council, and she will be presenting the case study for Aveiro in Project LIFE-PAYT. Welcome.
Thank you. Next we are going to see a small video about our experience in Aveiro. The test, the experience in the field took place in a small neighborhood here inside the city, and during about 2 months. So we are now going to see the video, and in the end, if you want to make questions, you may do it. Thank you.
O projeto LIFE-PAYT é um projeto europeu do programa LIFE-Ambiente, cofinanciado pela Comissão Europeia. Tem um orçamento de cerca de 2.500.000 euros e teve o seu início no dia 1 de setembro de 2016. O objetivo do projeto LIFE-PAYT é demonstrar que as tarifas PAYT são possíveis nos países do sul da Europa, originando uma diminuição dos resíduos indiferenciados e um aumento da separação dos resíduos. Este projeto está a ser desenvolvido em 5 locais, em 3 países diferentes. Em Portugal, os parceiros são o município de Aveiro, Condeixa Nova e Lisboa. Na Grécia é o município de Vrilicia e no Chipre é o município de Larnaca. O projeto tem ainda como parceira a Universidade de Aveiro e a Universidade Nacional Técnica de Atenas. Os projetos no âmbito do programa LIFE servem para testar novas metodologias e tecnologias, de forma a verificar se elas são viáveis em determinado contexto, proporcionando a sua disseminação e replicação noutros locais com características idênticas.
Na área piloto, estima-se que residam 1.153 habitantes. Existem 687 clientes do serviço de abastecimento de água, dos quais 566 são consumidores domésticos e 121 são consumidores não domésticos.
Em 2017, antes de darmos início à nossa experiência piloto, efetuámos uma caracterização física dos resíduos produzidos neste bairro. Concluímos que, em média, cada habitante produz por ano 341 quilos, comparando com os 491 quilos que cada habitante produz por ano no concelho, ou seja, neste bairro, em média, a produção de resíduos é inferior à média do concelho de Aveiro. No estudo de caracterização física de 2017, concluiu-se que 59,8% dos resíduos eram biodegradáveis, dos resíduos que estavam a ser depositados no contentor de indiferenciados. Neste contexto, promovemos também a compostagem doméstica para a zona das moradias, por forma a que os municípios reaproveitassem o potencial destes resíduos, em vez de os depositarem nos contentores de indiferenciados.
De forma a diminuir as quantidades de resíduos indiferenciados no local, foram entregues kits de compostagem e realizadas 2 ações de formação em compostagem doméstica aos moradores residentes na urbanização da Forca Voga.
Os sistemas Pay As You Throw, PAYT, constituem-se como um claro incentivo para os cidadãos, por via financeira, para promover a separação na origem e aumentar as taxas de recolha seletiva. É, portanto, um método mais justo que promove a redução da fração indiferenciada de resíduos produzida por cada município e o aumento da separação dos resíduos valorizáveis. Quantos mais resíduos separar e colocar no ecoponto, menos resíduos necessita de colocar no contentor de indiferenciados e, portanto, menos pagaria da tarifa de resíduos. Isto é, a tarifa PAYT, que estamos a testar neste projeto. De notar que, dos resíduos urbanos, somente pagamos os resíduos indiferenciados, a sua recolha, transporte e tratamento. Os resíduos recicláveis, quer o município não paga nada para o seu encaminhamento para valorização. Todos os residentes e comerciantes da zona piloto receberam um cartão de acesso igual a este. Este cartão permitia abrir os contentores para os resíduos urbanos indiferenciados. Cada cartão tem um chip que identifica o utilizador. Sempre que um município abria o contentor, ficava registado numa plataforma eletrónica o dia, a hora e a data da abertura, dessa abertura. que irá permitir calcular a tarifa PAYT em função do volume de resíduos produzidos. Por cada abertura contabilizávamos 30 litros de resíduos urbanos indiferenciados produzidos. Para utilizar o contentor com controle de acessos, o município só teria que fazer-se acompanhar do seu cartão de acesso, carregar num botão no contentor, encostar este cartão ao leitor e abria-se a tómbola do contentor. Deposita o lixo e volta a fechar. Não é necessário decorar estas informações, uma vez que na tampa do contentor existe um autocolante com todos os passos que deve dar.
Os moradores da urbanização da Forca Voga podem consultar a plataforma digital do projeto, entrar na área privada com as suas credenciais de acesso e aceder a um conjunto de informações sobre a utilização dos contentores, número de vezes e dias em que colocaram o saco no contentor, entre outras informações. Também nesta plataforma digital, os moradores têm acesso a informação sobre o tarifário de resíduos urbanos, o que pagam atualmente em função do consumo de água e o que pagariam em função do volume de resíduos efetivamente produzidos, caso o sistema PAYT estivesse implementado na área piloto. Entre os dias 31 de agosto e 5 de setembro de 2020, foi instalado um ecoquiosque onde foi possível entregar a segunda via dos cartões de acesso aos contentores, folhetos informativos sobre o projeto e prestar esclarecimentos aos moradores. Durante os dias 8, 9 e 10 de outubro de 2020, esteve presente na urbanização da Forca Voga em Aveiro uma equipa do projeto LIFE-PAYT para uma campanha de sensibilização aos moradores com o intuito de explicar o funcionamento dos contentores PAYT, recolher informações de melhoria e sensibilizar para o impacto dos resíduos no ambiente.
Eu acho o projeto interessante e acho que devia ser aplicado a mais zonas da cidade, eventualmente até no país inteiro, porque é o mais lógico, não é? O consumidor pagador, portanto, paga o que consome e não tem que estar a fazer taxas e cálculos e pagar eventualmente mais.
As pessoas não cumprem, não fazem a separação dos resíduos, têm todas as facilidades, não cumprem, então vamos fazer um projeto e apoio fortemente este projeto de forma a que as pessoas cumpram a separação dos resíduos e coloquem aqui nos resíduos diferenciados apenas aqueles que são efetivamente resíduos diferenciados.
O LIFE-PAYT em Aveiro foi recebido pelos aveirenses na zona da Forca com o objetivo de testarmos novas soluções ambientais. Viemos testar e implementar junto da nossa população estas novas soluções dos 3 R's. Da redução, tirámos o máximo de RSUs dos nossos contentores, por compensação em parte de reciclagem e de outra parte da compostagem doméstica, que foi também uma das áreas testada neste local, e depois, obviamente, o último, a reciclagem, então com o aumento para o dobro da oferta de ecopontos no local. Este projeto fez com que nós percebêssemos as dificuldades de implementação do nosso lado, percebemos as dificuldades de implementação de prestadores de serviço e percebemos também a dificuldade por parte dos moradores. As vantagens do PAYT são basicamente estas, ou seja, a parte de melhorar a nossa pegada ecológica e a parte financeira, onde vamos ser mais justos com quem melhor trabalha os seus resíduos em casa. Perante todo o conhecimento retirado deste projeto, estamos já a trabalhar num novo, que vamos implementar também numa rua em Aveiro para testar um novo sistema de contentor, de abertura não com cartão, mas com um sistema de dígitos. Este novo contentor que estamos a trabalhar tem muito em conta o sucesso do que este contentor que testámos na Forca teve e o insucesso que este mesmo contentor que testámos aqui neste local teve.
De uma forma geral, os resultados da implementação do projeto em Aveiro demonstram uma redução significativa de recicláveis nos contentores PAYT, menos 50% de papel e cartão, menos 40% de vidro e menos 30% de plásticos. Esta redução de recicláveis permitiu constatar uma mudança de comportamentos na população-alvo, com um aumento na separação dos resíduos a serem colocados nos ecopontos. No dia 16 de novembro de 2020, a experiência piloto na urbanização da Forca Vogas chegou ao fim. Várias foram as lições tiradas desta experiência. Ao nível técnico, permitiu perceber que o sistema de hardware e software desenvolvido necessita de ser melhorado, assim como o contentor protótipo, que apesar de ter sido melhorado ao longo desta experiência, demonstrou algumas fragilidades. Ao nível social, esta experiência permitiu constatar a importância de serem feitas campanhas de comunicação no terreno e que o contacto presencial é a melhor forma de sensibilizar a população.
Engenheira Paula tem... Very well, thank you for the video of Aveiro. So far, we don't have any questions. So either everything is crystal clear or people are, I don't know, maybe a bit shy, but it's okay. If you prefer, you can ask questions in Portuguese in this part of the workshop for Engenheira Paula.
Yes, I'm seeing in the chat that people are asking if we can make available this video. I think we are going to put all these videos in the LIFE-PAYT web page.
Yes, that's right. The 5 videos for these municipalities will be available from the project website after this meeting. We did not want to show beforehand, but now that it's been out here, you can see them and download them from the project website.
Okay, so just to make a resume, we made this experience. We had some problems with this prototype container that we are trying to make another prototype version, a better version, call it Smart Bio-Waste, that we are going to test in Aveiro City for bio-waste. And this experience of LIFE-PAYT, it was very important for us to see how people react, the problems, how we must contact with them, because we saw that they prefer to talk with people or in meetings or in a door-to-door campaign. They don't like many the leaflets, it's not such so effective. And it was very good for us to get this experience and to learn how we can make a better implementation of a PAYT scheme here in Aveiro. Thank you.
So, but could you just let us know what you think was the main challenge for the implementation of this pilot in Aveiro?
The main challenge was to find a container with control access that works with no problems. That was difficult. So we had to develop with some companies, we had to develop a different lead to try to control the volume, because our PAYT scheme was on about volume, measuring the volume of waste produced and not the weight. That was the most difficult thing, because in Portugal we don't have many of these containers to buy for sale that are already tested and working well. That was the main problem. But now we are already with a second container model, a second model that we think it's going to solve some problems we had, and we are also going to test it in a real street.
Okay, thank you very much, Engenheira Paula. There are no additional questions, so we move on to the municipality of Condeixa a Nova, and I welcome Dr. Helena Bigares. Hello, good morning.
Bom dia, good morning to all.
Dr. Helena is the responsible.
Peço desculpa. Estão a ouvir?
Sim, estamos a ouvir muito bem. Só queria dizer que Dr. Helena Bigares is the responsible for Municipal Environmental and Urban Services no município de Condeixa Nova. and she will tell us about her experience with implementation of LIFE-PAYT. Welcome, Doutora Helena.
Bom dia. Good morning to all. I'm talking in Portuguese, if you don't mind. Muito rapidamente para dizer que o nosso projeto de Condeixa difere ligeiramente do projeto de Aveiro, tem uma metodologia diferente, que vamos conseguir ver num vídeo que também temos preparado. Também estamos disponíveis no final para responder a questões que existam e obviamente, eventualmente abordar alguns problemas que fomos tendo ao longo de todo este processo, que foi bastante importante para Condeixa, dado que abriu-nos o caminho. É preciso ver que no contexto, quando nós fizemos este projeto, não existia ainda a obrigatoriedade de implementação do PAYT, que entretanto existe a nível nacional, e portanto isto vem-nos abrir o caminho e preparar por uma revolução a nível da gestão dos resíduos e dos modelos implementados que existem, o que nos vai facilitar e de alguma forma a porta para continuar este processo, que vamos continuar certamente em 2022, apesar deste projeto terminar agora. Vamos então ver o vídeo agora de Condeixa.
O projeto LIFE-PAYT no município de Condeixa, a Nova, propõe-se a implementar um novo modelo de gestão de resíduos assente no princípio do poluidor-pagador, em que cada um deverá pagar de acordo com aquilo que deita fora. Será um modelo de gestão pay as you throw, em que visa incentivar a redução dos resíduos e diferenciados, potenciando assim o aumento da reciclagem. Desta forma, o objetivo é eliminar a distorção que é criada através da tarifa indexada à água, conseguindo realizar uma tarifa mais justa e equitativa, em que cada um apenas paga os resíduos que realmente vai produzir. Com este propósito, em 2017, iniciámos uma transformação ao sistema de gestão de resíduos atualmente existente, rumo ao modelo PAYT, destinado apenas aos produtores não domésticos, e que tem por base a identificação do contentor e o volume de resíduos produzidos.
O município de Condeixa Nova tem 139 km² organizados em 7 freguesias, com 17.078 habitantes e cerca de 398 produtores de resíduos urbanos não domésticos. De modo a melhor caracterizar este universo, começou por realizar-se uma base de dados e cadastro georreferenciado dos estabelecimentos do setor de comércio, serviços e indústria. Efetuaram-se também inquéritos para aferir sobre a tipologia e quantidade de resíduos produzidos por estes utilizadores do sistema, bem como condições e espaço disponível para instalação interior de equipamentos.
Em 2017 foi ainda realizado um estudo de caracterização física dos resíduos gerados pelos produtores não domésticos, de modo a avaliar o estado inicial da produção de resíduos neste setor. Dos resultados concluiu-se que 52% eram resíduos biodegradáveis, biorresíduos, e cerca de 22% eram recicláveis de embalagem, portanto, confirmava-se que havia ainda um grande potencial para implementar as boas práticas de reciclagem.
Neste contexto, reforçámos a capacidade instalada de ecopontos, colocando 7 novos equipamentos em locais estratégicos que permitiram o desvio de recicláveis do circuito dos indiferenciados. Não obstante, de modo a fornecer aos utilizadores do setor não doméstico mais alternativas e facilitar as condições para o correto encaminhamento dos resíduos recicláveis e assim poderem reduzir os resíduos indiferenciados produzidos, em agosto de 2018, o município de Condeixa Nova estabeleceu uma parceria com a ERSUC, Resíduos Sólidos do Centro S.A., iniciando-se a recolha seletiva porta a porta para os 3 fluxos de resíduos recicláveis: papel e cartão, plástico e metal e vidro. De modo a complementar este serviço de recolha seletiva efetuado pela ERSUC, em maio de 2021, o município iniciou um novo serviço de recolha porta a porta dedicado ao fluxo de papel e cartão. Foram disponibilizados contentores para facilitar a deposição separada e acondicionamento destes resíduos recicláveis. A recolha seletiva municipal é realizada semanalmente, abrangendo um conjunto de utilizadores geograficamente mais dispersos no concelho, permitindo o desvio de cerca de 2,5 toneladas de papel e cartão por mês.
Paralelamente aos trabalhos anteriormente desenvolvidos, e porque sempre foi convicção do município que não é possível implementar um sistema PAYT sem um suporte regulamentar, foi desenvolvida a revisão do Regulamento Municipal de Gestão de Resíduos, onde foi introduzido o sistema PAYT e desenvolvido e aprovado o tarifário PAYT.
Em fevereiro de 2020, foram adaptadas 2 viaturas de recolha de resíduos com sistemas de leitura com tecnologia RFID. Para além da instalação de todo o hardware necessário para o correto funcionamento do sistema, foi ainda necessário dotar com tecnologias RFID os equipamentos destinados à deposição indiferenciada de resíduos. Para associar cada produtor aos resíduos por ele produzidos, foram colocados tags nos contentores de uso individual existentes para permitir a leitura de volume recolhido em cada utilizador do sistema. Para isso, foi preciso associar a informação relativa ao contentor georreferenciado ao respectivo tag colocado através de leitor portátil PDA.
Enquanto supermercado, produzimos muito lixo ao nível do cartão e do plástico e era muito difícil fazer uma reciclagem. Desta forma, tanto o ERSU como os serviços da Câmara Municipal de Condeixa veio trazer um benefício nessa parte e já há quase 2 anos que nós fazemos reciclagem total do cartão e do plástico. Com esta situação do contentor é mais um acrescente e estou certo que cada vez vamos continuar a reciclar o máximo possível.
Aos utilizadores que aderirem ao sistema PAYT e que não disponham dos equipamentos de uso exclusivo, está prevista a distribuição de contentores sempre dotados com um identificador RFID. O identificador instalado no contentor permite que, na altura da recolha, a informação nele contida seja lida por um sensor óptico, adicionado ao veículo de recolha, e os dados sejam transmitidos por GPRS para uma plataforma informática onde são centralizados e processados. Foi posteriormente necessário parametrizá-la em função da realidade de Condeixa. Num sistema PAYT, é fundamental que o sistema de comunicação e processamento dos dados recolhidos seja isento de descontinuidades, pelo que é essencial a formação de todos os seus utilizadores. Em julho e agosto de 2020, realizaram-se ações de formação dirigidas aos motoristas e cantoneiros que iam utilizar a consola, o leitor portátil e a botoneira. Durante a formação foi demonstrada a melhor forma para basculamento de contentores, de modo a aumentar a eficiência de leitura, tendo todos os operadores testado os equipamentos, de modo a avaliar a sua aplicabilidade. Por outro lado, a operação de parametrização e posteriormente manutenção do sistema de informação e gestão exige uma manutenção permanente. Desde 2020, o município tem monitorizado o serviço e diariamente são verificados aspectos passíveis de configurar eventual anomalia. A validação destes parâmetros é exigente, mas fundamental para garantir a boa gestão, tendo subjacente o objetivo de faturação em função do grau de utilização do sistema de recolha. Assim se consegue regularizar desvios face ao padrão de utilização previsto. O volume de resíduos indiferenciados é assim medido e incluído na fatura a enviar mensalmente aos utilizadores PAYT, sendo desta forma o pagamento efetuado em função do que realmente produz. Com a tarifa PAYT, o utilizador, quanto mais reciclar e menos resíduos indiferenciados produzir, menos paga.
A pandemia por Covid, ao exigir um confinamento geral da população, teve como consequência o fecho da maioria do setor não doméstico, o que inviabilizou o arranque do projeto até abril de 2021. Apenas recentemente conseguimos iniciar a abordagem junto dos produtores, sensibilizando-os para as vantagens de adesão a este novo tarifário PAYT. Foi assim efetuada a entrega de folhetos e visitas técnicas aos diversos estabelecimentos destes produtores não domésticos. Apesar das dificuldades sentidas, o sistema PAYT de Condeixa encontra-se atualmente com cerca de 6 meses de monitorização a cerca de 50 produtores não domésticos. É já possível concluir e avaliar os ganhos que o tarifário PAYT trará a muitos destes produtores, mas também a perceber que outros estão a pagar abaixo daquilo que é o custo do tratamento dos resíduos que geram.
Estamos aqui hoje em Condeixa Nova a falar do projeto PAYT, que é, de facto, um projeto que Condeixa daria, um projeto piloto ligado à parte ambiental, onde temos bastante preocupação, até porque esse projeto, como o próprio nome indica, simboliza um novo paradigma no tratamento dos resíduos. Demos um passo em frente naquilo que é procurar haver mais reciclagem, procurar haver menos lixo para aterro e, portanto, para nós, município, tem sido uma experiência importante. É um projeto que vamos manter durante o ano de 2022. Tem sido bem aceito nós temos a possibilidade de selecionar o lixo, os resíduos, melhor dizendo, e poder reciclar o máximo possível, pagando só aquilo que verdadeiramente produzimos, é de facto uma vantagem, e neste caso até para o setor não doméstico ligado ao comércio, e ainda mais tem importância em termos da rentabilidade dos seus negócios. Portanto, eu acho que vai ser um sucesso a implementação total deste projeto e depois iremos caminhar, cumprindo as metas que estão previstas em termos europeus, é algo em que a Câmara acredita e que vai apostar e vai continuar a investir.
A introdução de um sistema PAYT tem como principal objetivo fomentar a sustentabilidade económica e ambiental do município através do desenvolvimento de um modelo de tarifário de resíduos mais justo e equitativo.
Iniciar o seu vídeo?
Bem, estamos de volta após o vídeo de Condeixa. Não estamos a ver a doutora Helena Bigares. We are back. So it was very nice to see your
Não sei se precisam de alguma questão. Eu tenho aqui alguém que pode responder também em inglês, se for preciso.
We have a question. Let me see, from Mr. Nuno Machado. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Célia. Good morning, Helena. Congrats for the initiative for bringing these matters to the public council. And anyway, we will try to speak English in a way that everyone understands, because you know the first 5 minutes are always a bit rusty. For Helena, congrats for the implementation of the PAYT project. It's really a challenge, and here in my we also have the PAYT in the ground, and we're trying to make the best of it. So one of the main concerns that we have here in Maia is a town in the north of Portugal, so that everyone knows. Sorry, Helena, you were trying to. I was speaking to another person. Maia is a town in the north of Portugal, and we're trying to implement PAYT as well. And one of the main problems that we face are the bins that represent errors, that have errors in the readings in the trucks. I think that you also have the same problem in Condeixa Nova, and we're trying to assess what is the optimal rate for the errors in the containers that the rate that we need to continue to have corrections of these containers. Is that what I'm trying to say? So Helena, have you assessed this optimal rate of the errors in your containers there in Condeixa Nova, or you are trying to calculate this rate? How do you address this problem?
Se calhar, I would suggest that maybe the answer can be in Portuguese. Okay?
Sim, sem problema.
Eu não sei se percebi bem a questão. Vocês tinham erros na leitura dos contentores. Nós tivemos imenso essa situação, vários tipos de erros, quer de localização, de leituras duplicadas ou de ausência de leituras. Não sei se era essa a vossa questão. Isso tem a ver com a parametrização do próprio sistema, que foi aquilo que mais tempo nos demorou a fazer. Por isso é que nós tivemos tanta dificuldade em implementar o PAYT, foi no fundo, fazer com que todo o sistema, a fiabilidade do sistema, era o maior receio que eu tinha era poder lançar o PAYT ou iniciar um PAYT e depois não conseguir garantir a fiabilidade e a regularidade e continuidade de uma fatura. Porque era preciso resolver esses erros primeiro. E isso foi o que mais tempo demorou, e percebermos se o erro era da antena, dos sensores da viatura, ou de uma falha até da operação, ou da própria plataforma. Portanto, tudo isso foi aquilo que demorou mais tempo a conseguir estabilizar. E só agora, há cerca de 6 meses para cá, estamos a ter, apesar de já estarmos com o sistema a funcionar há cerca de 10, tivemos os primeiros 4 meses que foram muito duros, muito exigentes, e que exigiam quase uma monitorização, eu não digo 24 horas da equipa que trabalha aqui, mas quase, porque temos turnos a funcionar até à 1 da manhã e os operadores estávamos sempre constantemente, temos a possibilidade de ver a plataforma em tempo real, estávamos constantemente a ver, no dia a seguir, ou às vezes na própria hora, o que problemas é que tinham acontecido no circuito, porque é que os contentores não tinham sido lidos. Chegámos, para dar um exemplo, a ler contentores no concelho vizinho, não é? Do concelho vizinho, que era uma coisa estranhíssima, ou ir a ler contentores daqui até ao aterro. Portanto, não sei se era esta a questão, mas...
Sim, Helena, era uma questão que realmente está muito relacionada com isso que estava a dizer, e nós agora, como o nosso sistema de recolha é um sistema com uma outra camada de complexidade, eu poderia dizer assim, porque ele chama de recolha porta a porta, aquilo que nós temos um parque de centenas de milhares de contentores distribuídos por todo o município e encontramos exatamente as mesmas dificuldades que Condeixa Nova também encontrou, desde erros de operação, erros do próprio hardware, e tudo isso contribui para uma incorreta faturação e para perdas de operação, ou seja, cada contentor que não é lido representa receita que não é obtida pela empresa. E aquilo que nós estamos aqui a tentar apurar agora é qual seria, para um caso de um sistema porta a porta, qual seria a taxa a partir da qual nós já não teríamos que andar atrás de contentores. Temos pesquisado na literatura e assim, mas ainda não temos obtido nenhuma resposta fidedigna que nos diga, olhem, a partir de, e vou colocar aqui uma hipótese, a partir de 1% de erros de contentores que apresentam erros, já não vale a pena, vamos assumir isso como perdas. Ou então não, ou então dizer-nos que não, nós temos que caminhar sempre para o 0% de erros. Não pode haver um contentor com erro na rua. É claro que isto é um pouco utópico, porque quanto mais não seja, haverá sempre um chip, haverá sempre um RFID que irá sempre falhar. Hoje está a funcionar, amanhã já não está. Haverá sempre um erro de um operador que julga que é para recolher aquele contentor que pertence àquele circuito e não pertence. E isto é inevitável. Mas pronto, gostei muito de ver os vossos progressos e a forma como implementaram o projeto, e de facto pronto, era uma dúvida que nós aqui na Maia ainda temos e que gostaríamos de conseguir de alguma forma partilhar a nossa experiência e ouvir outras experiências nesse sentido.
Sim, obrigada. Claro que a vossa realidade é de facto maior que a escala de Condeixa e traz com certeza outros tipos de problemas. E sim, essa questão existe e é esse o maior receio de um peito, creio que em qualquer município onde ele seja implementado, é a ausência de garantia da fiabilidade da leitura e da continuidade da leitura e da exatidão da leitura em cada um dos produtores. Pois esse é o grande desafio do peito e para mim é aquele que mais assusta quando se quer implementar isto. Mas sim, nós também tivemos esse problema, estamos neste momento a conseguir conseguir manter a regularidade, mas de facto a escala ainda é relativamente pequena em relação quando um dia quisermos passar para o doméstico, pois o desafio será muito mais interessante.
Muito bem, muito obrigado.
Thank you very much for your question. I would like to ask Helena, was it easy for the operationals to change the system? I mean, the people that collect the garbage, how did they accept this change? Was it very difficult or was it easy? Could you please comment on this? Thank you.
Espantosamente foi muito fácil. Não vou dizer que foi muito fácil no sentido de não tivemos problemas, esquecimentos e falhas, obviamente tivemos, faz parte da aprendizagem de uma equipa, mas em termos da recepção a estas novas metodologias, e acaba por ser uma forma diferente de fazer e eles perceberem que têm que estar sempre mais atentos e não se esquecer de iniciar a rota, não se esquecer no final de registrar. Portanto, há um conjunto de novos procedimentos que foi preciso implementar e que, espantosamente, eles receberam todos muito bem. E muito interessados e muito empenhados. Foi uma boa recepção, Também tenho sorte também na equipa que temos, obviamente não posso dizer que o contrário, mas correu bastante bem. Tínhamos pessoas, tinha chamadas às 7, 8, 9 da noite, esqueci-me de fazer isto, ou o software está a acontecer outra situação, está a acontecer algum problema, o que é que eu faço? Como é que eu faço? Portanto, eles estavam interessados, empenhados em que tudo corresse bem e em não falhar, e alertavam-nos, olha que aqui acontece isto, aquele contentor não parece que eu os próprios chamavam a atenção de alguns problemas. Portanto, nesse aspecto, em termos de interesse e recepção daquilo que foi estas novas tecnologias e estas novas formas de fazer, da parte dos operacionais, foi bastante bom.
Muito obrigada. Eu penso que não há mais perguntas. De qualquer forma, se alguém desejar fazer mais alguma pergunta, pode sempre fazê-lo através do chat. Nós estaremos atentos. E eu passaria então agora a palavra ao município de Lisboa. I'm sorry, I was just speaking in Portuguese. I was just saying that we will now go and move to the municipality of Lisbon, and we welcome José Barros and Filipa Alves. They are members of the team of the big waste producers at the Municipal Department of Urban Hygiene of the Lisbon City Council. Welcome.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Celia. We're going to present the video about the project LIFE-PAYT in the big, large producers, okay?
O projeto LIFE, Sistema PAYT, no município de Lisboa, pretende-se que haja uma diminuição da produção de resíduos, aumento da separação de resíduos seletivos, junto de grandes produtores de resíduos. Portanto, entidades que produzem mais de 1.100 litros de resíduos por dia. Começa por identificar os grandes produtores de resíduos, estabelecer contacto com essas entidades, promover o recenseamento e a celebração de contrato de gestão de resíduos com o município de Lisboa e, posteriormente, há todo um acompanhamento dessas entidades ao nível da produção, da separação e da qualidade de resíduos que são encaminhados para reciclagem. Fazemos ações de sensibilização, de formação, fazemos monitorização às casas do lixo, onde verificamos o estado de higiene e de conservação dos contentores, a taxa de separação de resíduos, a qualidade da separação de resíduos e, na sequência desta monitorização, é enviado um relatório à entidade. O 19 trouxe aqui algumas alterações, por um lado, ao nível da quantidade da produção de resíduos e, por outro lado, também porque algumas entidades se encontram encerradas. Temos vindo também a acompanhar circuitos de remoção, portanto, o ato da recolha dos resíduos, para também se verificar como é que está o estado dos contentores e da separação de resíduos no ato da recolha. O projeto para nós, município de Lisboa, vai terminar em março deste ano. Até lá continuamos a dar apoio às entidades.
Nesse âmbito, e de acordo com a norma ISO 14001 de 2015, fazemos a gestão dos resíduos que são produzidos diariamente no nosso centro comercial, bem como no Hotel do Chiado. O nosso objetivo, portanto, é conseguirmos ter uma correta gestão dos resíduos que são produzidos e para esse efeito temos com frequência ações de sensibilização e formação junto das pessoas que trabalham nas nossas instalações, nomeadamente junto das nossas equipas de limpeza e também junto dos funcionários das lojas dos armazéns do Chiado. A separação é feita, portanto, nas lojas ou pelas equipas e são encaminhados os resíduos para o nosso cais que temos, onde estão instalados diversos contentores para recolhermos precisamente todos os resíduos produzidos na instalação. Portanto, o nosso objetivo, através da correta separação dos resíduos quando são encaminhados para o cais, é conseguirmos aumentar a taxa de reciclagem dos armazéns do Chiado. E, portanto, para aumentarmos essa taxa de reciclagem dos armazéns do Chiado, isso implica a correta separação dos resíduos para colocação nos diversos contentores que temos e, nomeadamente, separação nos contentores de indiferenciados, papel, vidro e plástico. Associada a esta preocupação ambiental que nós temos e à norma ISO 14001 de 2015, sobre a qual fazemos a gestão diária dos armazéns do Chiado, nesse âmbito celebramos também um contrato de prestação de serviços com a Câmara Municipal de Lisboa para a gestão de resíduos dos armazéns do Chiado. Esse contrato tem uma determinada tarifa, que é valorizada em função do número de contentores que temos e também das recolhas diárias que são feitas pela Câmara Municipal de Lisboa. Com o aparecimento em março de 2020 da pandemia Covid-19, obviamente que houve aqui um impacto significativo na atividade do centro comercial e a gestão de resíduos produzidos diariamente teve um decréscimo na ordem dos 50%. Entramos em contacto com a Câmara Municipal de Lisboa para falarmos sobre esta situação e houve uma abertura no sentido de podermos rever o contrato em função desta nova realidade que vivemos neste momento. Uma vez que não produzimos um número tão elevado de resíduos, conseguimos baixar o número de contentores que temos na nossa instalação e também conseguimos aumentar a nossa taxa de valorização neste período, o que obviamente implicou uma redução na tarifa que temos neste momento contratada com a Câmara Municipal de Lisboa. Do futuro, e com o regresso à normalidade que esperamos que ocorra com a maior brevidade possível, iremos manter o contacto com a Câmara no sentido de prepararmos o futuro e revermos as condições do contrato existente. Portanto, é uma parceria que iremos continuar a manter, tendo em vista uma maior e mais eficiente gestão de resíduos dos armazéns do Chiado.
A nossa produção de lixo em termos de hotelaria varia sempre de secção para secção. Portanto, as pessoas que fazem a recolha do lixo dos andares têm um tipo de lixo diferente das pessoas que trabalham nas cozinhas, que há de ser o lixo mais orgânico e nos andares há de ser mais indiferenciado. Portanto, as equipas estão informadas para fazer essa prática e depois mesmo aqui nesta zona que nós temos aqui disponível, está tudo bem indicado qual é que é a zona e o respectivo lixo que deve ser colocado. A separação é uma obrigação, portanto não temos que estar preocupados com a taxa, nem se há taxa, se não há taxa, nem há essa necessidade em saber. Portanto, o que é vidro, o que é papel, o que é plástico é plástico. Se tivermos algum quarto que esteja com algum caso contaminado, temos um caixote próprio para essa situação, para as coisas que vêm desse quarto não serem misturadas com o outro lixo comum. Portanto, tentamos nos adaptar dessa forma. O que está implementado, que a prática quanto menos plástico, mais cartão, portanto, e isso aqui foi uma mudança que tivemos que fazer junto da Câmara Municipal também, porque os contentores que nós tínhamos já não estavam preparados para a quantidade de cartão que nós estávamos a produzir, e foi por isso que foi feita aqui a substituição de alguns contentores. Foi a Câmara Municipal que nos ajudou nesse aspecto.
Muito bem, obrigada pela partilha da vossa experiência, José Barros. Thank you for sharing your experience with us in Lisbon. There are no raised hands, there is a question here asking how many clients are within the project in Lisbon.
Yes, right now we have 115.
150, yeah. This is large waste producers.
Yes.
That is, they produce over 1,000.
Yes, 1,100 liters per day.
Okay. So would you like to share with us what were the biggest difficulty in implementing this project? If you wish, you can also speak in Portuguese if you prefer.
Okay. The most difficult, well, it's a monitorização, fazer com mais vezes a monitorização, seja não só os circuitos como a casa do lixo. Portanto, isto, quanto maior for a quantidade dos grandes produtores, precisamos de mais meios para avaliar essa parte.
Okay, Mr. José Barros is just saying that his main difficulty was the monitoring of these waste producers. But in fact, it is very interesting that if we compare, because we had a control group in the project, we had a group of 15 large waste producers that were regularly monitored, that were given feedback, while the other ones, the main group, only was under a contract with the municipality, and so no monitoring, no feedback. And we could see that those that were monitored and were given feedback were the ones that had the best results, right?
Yes, right. Yes.
Very good results compared to the other group, right?
Right, yes.
So it is really important that investment is made in this monitoring, I think.
Yes, monitoring is the key to the process. Yeah.
And getting involved with the large producers.
The entities, yes, to involve them.
Okay. No questions. So I thank you very much for your participation today in our workshop. And yes.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure to see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So now we move to the municipality of Larnaca, and I welcome Mrs. Hadzi Paraskeva, Carlos Isate.
Carlos Asbrika. Hello to everyone. My name is Georgia Hadjibaraskeva. I am a public health inspector in Larnaca municipality, and it's our pleasure to participate in this very helpful and innovative project. So now it's time to share with us our action from Larnaca municipality, and I will remain at your disposal.
Good afternoon. The Larnaca municipality participates in the European program Pay As You Throw in the framework of the LIFE project. As a citizen of Larnaca, I have participated in the Pay As You Throw program, which is being piloted by the municipality in specific areas of our town with the aim to gather and to extract information in order to charge the citizens a fair price. Another reason for doing that is to encourage citizens to reduce their waste. Larnaca municipality has given a free trash can to all the citizens in those areas of 56 liters, and also special recycling garbage bags with special barcodes and stickers in order to gather this information. Thank you very much, and also we thank the European community for assisting us in this program. Thank you.
One moment, we will share the second video.
Ως Δημότης της Λάρνακας συμμετείχα στο πρόγραμμα Pay As You Throw, το οποίο εφαρμόζεται πιλωτικά από το Δήμο Λάρνακας, με στόχο την εξαγωγή πληροφοριών και συμπερασμάτων για την υιοθέτηση μιας δίκαιης τιμολόγησης των απορριμμάτων, την επίτευξη μείωσης της παραγωγής τους και την ορθότερη διαλογή τους για προστασία του περιβάλλοντος.
So these videos show a little bit of our experience in Cyprus, in Larnaca, and actually they show a different system, technical system, because in Aveiro we have the curbside containers, waste containers that were closed and accessed with a card. In Lisbon we have door-to-door collection to the large waste producers. In Condeixa we have the collection with the RFID to the bins, and here is to the non-domestic sector, and here is for residents. And what has been done is that they have a watch, a wrist a PDA, which reads the code field, the code in a plastic bag where the waste is collected. So this is quite a different system from the previous one. I don't know if there are any questions.
Celia, can I ask?
Of course, go ahead. Yes.
I would like to ask Georgia from Larnaca, what is the outcome of this? And I know that we had a lot of difficulties in Larnaca, still we decide on the system, but just to tell them now they came to the final conclusion to use the watch, as you mentioned, and the rest for the barcode. How do they find it? Are they going to continue the system or they are going to bring something else? And by the way, Georgia, you just got a huge program for Cyprus, the integrated project for waste management. So you as Larnaca, you will be participating in this program. I would like to know if you will continue the system or you want to shift to another system for the pay-as-you-throw program.
Yes, dear Maria, hello. I think I don't have exactly the answer of this question, but I think it's delicate program only on this area at the time. So I don't know exactly what is the next step.
Okay, when I am next in Cyprus, we have a meeting to follow up the PAYT project, because now with the other program, I think you can make a big progress and so can resolve any issues that you had in this program. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Okay. Thank you very much. And now we move on to the next municipality. And I welcome Mr. Alexis Mavraganis from Vrilicia municipality. Oh, and we have a question in Greek. I'm sorry, I cannot understand in the chat.
Celia, is not a question. What I ask is me who asked my students, because I had to give lectures at this time. So I asked my students to attend this seminar because I do work on recycling and they are watching. So I'm just asking them, how do you find it?
Okay. Thank you, Maria. Okay, so welcome, Alexis. It is very nice to see you again.
Hello, Celia. Hello, Maria Loizidou. Hello to all. Mr. Cesar. We are glad we are here to speak about the program again. Maybe it's the last time, but I am very pleased that I have all this cooperation with Mrs. Loizidou team, with Celia Ferreira, the universities, the municipalities of the other countries. It was very useful, has a strong message to our local society to involve with this LIFE Pay-as-you-throw program. And I strongly believe that in the future, we will go back our minds and thought that this was a crucial program that passes in another that pass us in another model, in another day of the waste management of our municipality and maybe of of Athens in general.
So can we show the video?
Yes, if Maria Kassidoni is ready to play it.
Εφαρμόζουμε το πιλωτικό πρόγραμμα LIFE Πληρώνω στο Πετάω μαζί με τους εταίρους μας δήμους και ακαδημαϊκούς φορείς από την Πορτογαλία και την Κύπρο με στόχο την περιβαλλοντική προστασία και τη βιώσιμη ανάπτυξη του τόπου μας. Πώς το πετυχαίνουμε αυτό? Το πετυχαίνουμε με τη μείωση των δημοτικών τελών, νοικοκυριών και επιχειρήσεων που απορρίπτουν λιγότερα σύμμικτα απορρίμματα και αυξάνουν την ανακύκλωσή τους. Ταυτόχρονα συμβάλλουμε στην ανάπτυξη νέας παραγωγής από δευτερογενή υλικά της ανακύκλωσης και στην ανάπτυξη νέων και πράσινων θέσεων εργασίας.
Διαφέρει σε τίποτα από το πράσινο κάδο που ξέρετε, που περνάτε τα σκουπίδια της χωματερής. Πάνε για θάψη. Αυτό πρέπει να το έχουμε καλά στο πάνε για θάψη. Η διαφορά από το σε όσους προσωπικά έχουν την κάρτα πρόσβασης. Η χρήση του είναι πολύ απλή. Πλησιάζουμε την κάρτα εδώ, είναι το κλακ και τώρα μπορούμε να ανοίξουμε τον κάδο. Μετά με τα σκουπίδια.
Όταν ο δημότης πετάξει τα απορρίμματά του σε συγκεκριμένο κάδο, τότε το σύστημα το οποίο έχει κατασταθεί σε αυτόν τον κάδο μεταφέρει αυτόματα μέσω ασυρμάτου δικτύου Wi-Fi τα αποτελέσματα στη συγκεκριμένη οθόνη. Όπως εδώ βλέπετε, καταγράφεται η ημερομηνία της απόρριψης του δημότη, του κάδου, των απορριμμάτων του δημότη στον κάδο, ουσιαστικά το κωδικός του κάδου και το βάρος το οποίο πέταξε ο δημότης.
Εμείς εδώ, στο Δήμο Βρυλισσίων, πρωταγωνιστούμε στην κυκλική οικονομία για την προστασία του περιβάλλοντος, για ένα καλύτερο μέλλον για τα παιδιά μας.
Mr. Alexis Mavraganis, thanks for sharing the video of Vrylissия with us. I think this is a very interesting system because it's based on the weight of the bag, not on the volume, as we have done previously. All the previous systems that we have shown are based on volume, and this is one of the differences of Vrylissia's municipality is that you really are able to measure how much one plastic bag of waste, what is the mass, right?
Yes, I think that this is something very innovative. I believe that in the future we can deliver this technology to other municipalities here in Athens, in Greece, and in the whole Europe. If it is useful, I think and I believe that it will be some very useful approaches, very useful cases to use this new system. It was a system that it was very difficult to develop, but month by month we have problems, we solve problems, we again go back and from the start, and in the finish we have a very useful system, new system, very innovative, that I believe that can go and measure the weight and give results from the weight and give prices for the waste via weight measures.
Yes, and actually it's very interesting because at the beginning of the project, we did not expect that we would need to develop the bins, the containers, all the software, hardware. We thought we would just go in the market and buy things ready. But when we tried to first implement in 2017, and we tried to ask for tenders for applicants, no companies wanted to supply the containers. And so if we wanted to succeed as a project, we needed to do something else that was not originally expected in the project. We had no budget whatsoever, but each municipality developed prototypes, developed software, hardware. It was very challenging. And yeah, so this has been a long way. Maria, please go ahead.
Yes, I would like to congratulate Brilicia. You are the front runners in recycling, and you are really trying very, very hard. Alexis, you try very, very hard. You spend a lot of your time on this, and your citizens are aware of all these initiatives you have. And I was wondering, and I know that you face quite a lot of problems now. How do the people take this system? Do they feel it's comfortable? It's easy to use? We lost Alexis. Georgia, okay. It's not...
I think maybe the connection just went down.
Yes. Anyway, I think Brilicia, that's what I want to pass the message to the municipalities, that they have to try and bring people very close to them. Awareness is a must, because we've been to Brilicia, we gave a lot of lectures. People, they have to understand, and also I think the mayor is not here. Brilicia has really made a discount on the cost of the waste management. They are breaking down the price that the PCC pays. So they already implement the pay-as-you-throw principle.
Yeah.
And
so
this is a very good example.
Yes,
and,
I think it is a very nice experience. Also, with Larnaca, I don't know if you have a chance to lower the tariff. Or...
I will agree with Professor Loizidou, because awareness is the key of all of these actions, because it's a new era of our citizens. So firstly, we have to spread all the awareness in order to complete our actions.
I don't think that Larnaca, Georgia, has brought the prices down for the citizens, but it's something that you are planning, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We don't have a discount in the prices, but to the participants, we give some offers in other related activities.
Yeah, okay, it's a kind of rewarding. Yes. We reward them, yes. I think this has to be there eventually, because we have other schemes as well, not under the PAYT program, but also some other green corners that we develop. We really give incentives to the people, not very much, but just to congratulate that they are doing something. Give something to a school that is there in the city, in the small village rather. So I think we have to push that way and bring citizens close to us to understand the benefits from recycling at source, and they have to pay as you throw. That's the system. That's what we try to push through the PAYT program. Yes, Celia.
Yes, thank you very much for your participation in this panel. I think Alexis was not able to join back yet, so maybe no other questions. I will just close this session, and we go for a short break, and we'll be back at 11:30 in Portugal, 1:30 in Greece. So stay tuned, and hope to see you back for the last session of LIFE-PAYT workshop. Dear Alexis, we just finished the session. We noticed that you
Okay,
were.
I have problem with the connection. And now I
Yes.
have connection again.
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But Professor Loisidou was also complimenting the municipality of Vrilicia for such a good work and for working so closely with the citizens. So I leave the message here now for you. Thank you very much for your participation in this project. And
thank
for
you
all the
too, and
cooperation.
I hope to see you soon with some new case or for any reason.
Alexia, I congratulate you for your great effort that you are doing in Vrilicia. You are a front runner. That's it. And
Hello,
spread it around because we need your help. The inertia is too much.
And all your colleagues, especially thanks for Maria Cassidoni, Kostas Moustakas, and all your colleagues, and you personally. It was great experience, and we try to do the best in this pay as you throw model.
Okay. See you again. We should go for the short break. Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Yes, we start the last session of our workshop today, and I would like to ask Mr. Alvaro Braha, researcher at the Polytechnic of Coimbra in the LIFE-PAYT project, to talk us about the environmental and social impact of the project, which I consider very, very crucial for success of the project. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Professor Loisidou. Good morning to everybody. Give me a moment to share my presentation. Okay, so now you should be watching that already my presentation, and I'm going to talk about the environmental results of this LIFE-PAYT project. This evaluation constituted a whole action within the structure of the project. This was the action C1. And this action, it mainly consisted in two main activities. On the one hand, we performed some field characterization on every one of the target sites just to analyze the composition of the waste which is produced in these places. We did this twice. First time before the beginning of the project, just to establish our departing point, our baseline, and then in the end of the project, in order to assess which were the effects of the implementation of the project in the composition of waste. And on the other hand, we also perform life cycle assessment focused on the waste management in every one of the target sites of the project, with the same purpose, and analyze which were the effects derived from the project, in this case, in the environmental profile of the waste management in every one of the cases analyzed. So we studied all the management processes from the collection of waste itself until the obtaining of recycled products or waste or energy recovery and so on. So for now, we have completed this process, this environmental evaluation, for 3 of the 5 sites, that is Aveiro, Larnaca, and Lisboa. This is what I'm going to present now. Of course, every one of these 3 cases is different. In Aveiro and Larnaca, the project was focused mainly on domestic waste and waste generated by households. 400 in Aveiro, 315 in households, while in Lisbon, Lisbon is a more complicated case because we have commercial establishments, but these commercial establishments were not the same from the beginning until the end, since they were constantly joining the system or some of them leaving. So for this environmental evaluation, I chose to focus only of those establishments who were from the beginning until the end. This corresponds to 81 establishments. So I'm showing this because the numbers which I'm going to show later are based for every case in this universe. Households for Aveiro Larnaca and these 81 establishments for the case of Lisbon. So going straight to the results, I'm beginning with Aveiro. And in Aveiro, what we did is we analyzed the recordings of the cards that were used by citizens to open the waste bins. So that is, for every card used, we had a list, a recording of how many times the card was used to open the container. So we extracted from this information, we translated into the tons of waste. Okay? And what we see is that the mixed waste, this is what was measured in these PAYT containers, it was reduced from by more or less 30%. Okay, we see here the numbers. It should be said that of course, a problem of the result is that we do know that some citizens just they brought the waste away from the neighborhood. I mean, they avoided to use these PAYT containers. This is a common problem in PAYT experiences. So the result it should be taken with some caution. Even if I try to refine the data in order to mitigate this problem, but it cannot be completely excluded. Anyway, the reduction of mixed waste is here. It is true. And we can confirm it because, on the other hand, what we know is that the waste delivered to the recyclables collection, it has increased. And we know this from the characterization campaigns, as I said before. So it's clear to us that the recyclables that in the beginning were present as part of the mixed waste now are separated and they are put into the separate collection for recyclables. So we can say that this source separation percentage it raised from 11% to 34%, and this results in these amounts of particular materials, which, thanks to recycling, they are saved. I mean, they are not produced anymore because we are putting more recyclables in the separate collection. Okay, so from these first numbers through the LCA assessment and combined with the data of the waste management facilities, we can produce this result. This is derived from the LCA, from the life cycle assessment, and we chose mainly two indicators to be presented now. First is here we have carbon footprint, which I think this is a key indicator for every one of the projects now, because the carbon footprint is now a general concern for whole society due to the climate change. So in the case of Aveiro, what we have is that unfortunately the environmental impact of waste management in this city is dominated by landfilling. That means that even small gains in recycling, I mean, even a few tons directed to recycling instead of mixed waste, that brings us a significant improvement in terms of carbon dioxide emissions reduction. This is what we see now. The red column is before the project, the orange column is after the project. So thanks to the increased recycling, the orange column is lower. That means that less carbon emissions, carbon dioxide emissions are released to the atmosphere. The second indicator is the fossil resources consumption. This was chosen because it is relevant in the field of waste management. Due to the collection, vehicles are run by fossil fuels based on oil, and also because it's relevant in recycling, since, for example, plastic, it has its origins on oil. So what we have here is that an increase in recycling should bring a reduction in the fossil resources consumed. But it seems a bit contradictory to us here that if we look at the materials for recycling columns, the yellow one that is after the project is smaller than the previous one. That means that it is a negative number, so it should be interpreted as fossil resources saved. But if the second one is smaller, that means that less resources are saved. This seems contradictory, since, as I said before, the recycling has increased. Why so? Well, because looking back here, we can see that the most saved resource is paper. And in this case, the recycling of paper does not bring an environmental benefit in this category. Why? Because the raw material needed for paper, it is cellulose, and it is actually renewable. So it is not accounted in this indicator of fossil resources. Okay, that is the answer. But and that's why the indicator has somehow worse, from -5 tons saved to 2.2 tons, in this case, consumed. Okay, but this is only due to this particular circumstance of paper. Otherwise, the recycling has increased, as I said before. So I move forward to the next city. The next case is Larnaca. It is very similar to Aveiro. We know that mixed waste has reduced. We know this in this case because we look at the recordings of waste bags delivered to the system. And in this case, I think this is a more confident number than in Aveiro, because the pilot experience in Larnaca consisted in a door-to-door collection. That implies in practice that people cannot avoid the collection. I mean, it's not worth it for them, because the collection service, it goes straight to your home. So the easiest option is to bring to give the waste back to them, and not to put it in another place away from the neighborhood. So in this case, this 30% reduction, I think it comprises almost all of the households participating in the experience. It's true that in this case that separate collection of recyclable has not increased, but anyway, in relative terms, the recyclables collection now has more weight, has more presence when compared to the mixed waste collection. So after all, this is a positive result. In any case, we see it again in the source separation percentage, from 15% up to 20% after the project. Okay, now I will show the environmental indicators. And then what we see, the carbon footprint is again similar to Aveiro. Also here in Larnaca, the impact is dominated by land filling, even more than in Aveiro. So in this case, the gains in recycling, the increase in recycling brings even a more important reduction of carbon dioxide emissions. We can see.
Alvaro, you have 2 minutes to conclude.
Okay. Just I will be fast. Here in fossil resources consumption, now the gains are not based on paper, so the result is much better. We see it in the reduction from minus almost 4 tons saved in the beginning, and now it's 20 tons saved. Okay, then I go to the third case, Lisbon. As I said before, it's a little bit tricky because we see here that mixed waste collection has increased and not reduced. But this is mainly due to the activity of the companies, because here we are not talking of households that are more or less stable in their production. Here we are talking of companies that do business. So the more business they have, the more they sell, the more waste they produce. And this has nothing to do with their practices when disposing these waste. This has nothing to do with PAYT. Which is but I don't see this as a negative result, because if we look at it in relative terms, we see that when we compare mixed waste with recyclable waste, then the comparison is better in the beginning. In the end, sorry. That means more waste is recycled than before the project. We see it in the source separation percentage that it went from 30 up to 32. This is not much, but we must consider that Lisbon was already a good performer in terms of source separation. 30% is already high, and if we add bio waste, it goes up to 60%, which is already high. So the room of improvement in this case is reduced. I mean, it's more difficult to do it better when you are already at 60% than when you are at 15 or 30%, like in the other cities. So in terms of carbon footprint, it's more or less expectable.
I'm afraid we have to stop because the time is really running. I don't know.
Okay, I was already finishing. I was
conclude?
only looking the carbon footprint for Lisbon, and this the fossil resource consumption, which it has improved from the beginning. Okay, that's if I can show only here the global numbers. This as the objectives achieved. It's not 100%, but if we look at every partner, performance is better. And this is all from my part, from my side. I wait for questions.
Thank you so much. I thank you so much, Alvaro, for this very good results. I would say, because it shows that there is a tendency to do things, and then the results show that. Of course, we've seen some negative values, but we can discuss those why they come up like this. I would like to ask all the next speakers to limit their presentations in 12 minutes, please, so we can have a bit of time to discuss. The next speaker is Kara, researcher at the Polytechnic of Coimbra in the LIFE-PAYT project. He's working, and he's going to talk about the cost-benefit analysis. The floor is yours. 12 minutes. Please limit your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Maria Loizidou. She says, I'm part of the team of LIFE-PAYT project in the Polytechnic Institute of Coimbra, and together with Álvaro, the previous speaker, and Professor Celia, we made this framework, this theoretical framework about costs and benefits. We propose here to create some assumptions how a PAYT solution could behave in its investment in implementation in several municipalities, And we choose here the case study of Aveiro municipality as an assessment to create this framework. So we here propose the estimation of tangible costs and benefits throughout the assumptions of a paid solution implementation using Aveiro municipality as case study. As I said, we intend to demonstrate the feasibility of a paid solution taking this experience of LIFE-PAYT in Aveiro, and we extrapolated to the whole municipality as a solution integrated to the all the domestic sector. And in the end, we tend to propose a standard analysis that can be replicated for other communities and municipalities with a paid solution. And of course, and Alvaro, the previous speaker, says, we try to evidence some environmental and social paid benefits with these paid solutions implementations. Here, we show some key indicators about the Aveiro municipality for 2021. We had to estimate these features for population, households, and solid waste, and the capita. You used the information for population growth, the data that is available in Statistics of Portugal. So we estimated this population. We estimate a rising population for Aveiro for the next years, taking into account the past 11 years. So its population is growing as well. The solid waste could grow as well. So we can say that we can achieve about 38 tons of solid waste in this municipality. And we took this indicator from 2019, recycling rate of municipal waste in Aveiro was about 9.2%. As we saw in the previous presentation about Aveiro, this is a pilot that took place in a specific neighborhood, and they used about 25 containers with RFID, and they made a lot of home composting actions. And we start with this experience, and then we extrapolate. Our methodology is creating some scenarios about cost and benefits. The basis scenario is this first one, the paid and bio-waste investment, and the two scenario is only the second scenario, sorry, is the only paid investment, and the third scenario is non-investment at all. The basis scenario, as I said, considers this paid investment took into account the LIFE-PAYT experience, but we put we extrapolated for the entire municipality, and we put some assumptions for some costs and benefits that we'll show just next. The only paid investment, just take into account this scenario just with paid. Bio-waste investment is the investment that is placed in the strategic plan for bio-waste for the municipality that they kindly provide us, and we put into account as well, just as about equipment and software needed or vehicles, etc. So, and the assumption for costs, I will not pass for all of these assumptions, but maybe I will concentrate on these ones. That is the structured base cost of a municipality. That we can see that in treatment cost, the cost will rise for the following years, expressively, or I will say dramatically, and as well in taxes that is put in the Portuguese legislation. So we can see the Aveiro municipality will face an increase from 22 euros to 35 euros per ton in 2025. So this will be a huge impact. For containers investment, we use the market benchmarking to reach an affordable price that we consider that is affordable price, or a good price for investment in containers. Looking at the market, it will be about 1,000 euros each container, and we use, for instance, as well, the incremental cost in administrative cost, since it will be necessary to new workers to hand with data generated in paid systems. And going through to the benefits, and this is how I will say the key issue in this methodology, in this approach, that is in this part, avoided cost. Avoided cost, we'll say that is the benefit paid, the paid benefit of introducing the paid solution, and we try to estimate what will be the avoided costs or the benefit for municipalities to implement it. We saw in Aveiro that we can divert recycled materials due to the LIFE-PAYT awareness campaigns, as a lot of people say in this workshop. Awareness campaigns is really important, and we estimated about 1.3% per year of decreasing, that can decrease the reduction of unsorted waste, that will increase recycled materials. As theoretical hypothesis or assumption, we estimate here a diversion of recycled materials due implementation of paid tariff. The maximum theoretical, I will say, range is about 15%. And some literature says that we can go to till 30% of, because it's the maximum space of recycled materials that we can find in all the waste production. Then we estimate about 1 to 5% a reduction due to household consumption. Here we can explain that this paid solution induces a reduction of household consumption in goods based on high waste production. Maybe people tend to consume less plastic bottles or less materials that go to the waste or recycle. So PAYT will induce the reduction of consumption in this sense, and PAYT will boost for us and for our understanding, for what we can see in literature, in other experience. PAYT will boost this separation of bio-waste, and then we estimate that it can contribute to 2 to 14% on reduction of PAYT. So it will be the avoided cost and the benefit PAYT that we estimate for Aveiro in this case study. Here some features about investment CapEx and OpEx for 3 years analysis. As we may see, containers will be the highest effort in investment, about 6 to 8%. As well, public education campaign has a relevant share in this investment estimation. For these 3 years that we consider. Here we show graphically how will behave the cost and benefits evolution throughout our analysis period. In 2021, as we said, we consider the initial investment, so we'll see this impact of PAYT and bio-waste investment in these years. The treatment cost increasing that we saw and we show in the methodology. The tax as well will increase. So from this year and the following years, we will face this increase. And the public education campaign as a specific and a significant impact in costs. Benefits, as we saw in the methodology, we'll consider a co-funding, so there is impact in the co-funding here. That we can achieve almost 4 million euros in this year, and the avoided costs increase that we show that we could increase with this line over the years during the implementation of PAYT in public education awareness, etc. This is graphically what we call the avoided costs. And instead of growing the waste in Aveiro, we can estimate this decrease to about 26 tons instead of 39 tons in the end of 2030 in Aveiro, if PAYT is introduced, if PAYT is implemented in this municipality. And we estimate about 300 in the first year of avoided cost. That is as a benefit for a profit or revenue or whatever in Aveiro, and we can achieve about 1.3 million in the end of 2031 with this implementation. That will be a huge impact in economic and financial indicators for municipalities in its municipal solid waste management. This is the scenarios that.
One more minute, please, to conclude.
Okay, I'm finished. Professor Maria. Just show this the net cash flows that we achieve with this methodology. If no investment will take place in Aveiro, we'll face this dramatically path for economic and financial indicators for Aveiro municipality, since we saw this increasing in treatment costs and taxes that Aveiro will face and other municipalities in Portugal will face. But if we invest in PAYT in BOAs, we'll have this trajectory. This is not still positive, but is not the worst case scenario. It's better to invest in PAYT or BOA scenarios than not to invest. Here we have the only PAYT investment. This is the difference between the two investments in PAYT and BOAs. But this path, it's much better horizon for municipalities if they invest in this type of solutions. So it is the resume. We not achieve a positive net present value, but this is the worst case scenario. So it's better to invest than not to invest in terms of economic and financial issues. To finish, just say that we develop a tool for PAYT solutions that is the standard analysis that we propose to do it for the municipalities that were involved in LIFE-PAYT project, and we can create and simulate a lot of these costs and benefits that we estimate for Aveiro municipality. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm open to questions.
Thank you for this very interesting presentation. I think it's you give us very good output of the very difficult PAYT project, but it gives us hope that we can do many things. Thanks once again for this.
Thank you.
I would like to ask the next speaker to be ready to tell us, Paolo Paraga, Professor at Electronics, Informatics and Telecommunications Department of Aveiro University. He's going to talk all about the open access PAYT platform. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for the moderation and to promote these events. Can you hear me, correct?
Yes, yes,
okay.
We do.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, so related to the work that was developed on this project, I will probably bring a different topic, but which demonstrated to be extremely relevant, which is related to the technologies that support this kind of activities and actually enable the actual deployment of PAYT strategy in a municipality. Universidade de Aveiro, one of the tasks that Universidade de Aveiro had was related to the development what was called a PAYT platform. This platform was a software platform that was intended. So we prepared the proposal for the project in around 2014 or something. So from in the computer science terms, this is a different generation, so it's a long time ago. Things evolved very, very quickly, and but we assume that data will be a central aspect to PAYT, and the data management processes must be considered with strong detail and carefully. So this platform, we envision the development of a platform with the purpose of integrating data from the multiple municipalities. So we assume that each municipality will have their own platform, so connected internally, supporting their teams, technical teams. Some pilots could require help, so some municipalities could require some help presenting interfaces and to the citizens. And in the project, we assume and propose the need to create dashboards and interface, and actually integrate citizens more carefully and tighter with the municipality. So we envisioned a platform acting as a storage, so collecting data from municipalities, but also validating the concept of presenting actual dashboards to the users, so that the users could have incentives and could see that what they were doing was being monitored, and there will be incentives for their good behaviors, let's say. Also, we tried to validate and assess the existence and of technology related with open APIs and data repositories and dashboards and so on. And we developed this work in collaboration with the multiple municipalities along the project. This was more the planning and the actual deployment. So we had a central platform, which was our PAYT platform, which interacted with municipalities, and then it presented, these are some of the outputs that were available. So these outputs were citizen interfaces, open APIs to access data, documentation for municipality staff, for citizens, and then open data repositories. So we are talking about data sets which would enable replication of the results, and other municipalities to actually look looking at the reports, but also take a look at the data that was collected and get their own conclusions and do their own analysis. And we developed the system around this concept, which was validated in different manners. The portal, so this is a detail from informatics point. So we relied mostly on open source software. So the purpose was to provide a toolkit and something that could be helpful for municipalities to grow and to adopt PAYT strategies. So we relied mostly on open source software, open source solutions. When we created the proposal, I think we thought that this would be very relevant. The world changed. For one point, we had GDPR being applied. So there was a strong, very strong commitment to security after the project was done. So I think this represents very well how dynamic these activities are, and the lack of maturity, let's say, of PAYT, at least in Portugal, and how things change and how the teams need to be adapted along the way and along as they are developing their own PAYT strategies, but also putting in practice those strategies. One of the so we integrated with the municipalities in different ways. With Aveiro municipality, so Aveiro had purpose-built containers. They had a known provider which got data from those containers, and we interacted directly with the provider. So data was being uploaded to the vendor's cloud, so infrastructure, and we were in tight communication, so having meetings with them and coordinating what would be the interfaces how data could actually be shared between different partners. This went very, very well in that part. And then we collected data, which was used actually by the works, some of the works that you saw previously. So data will be anonymized and then provided to scientists. And then we had some dashboards that were provided to users. So we had the interfaces that were provided directly to users, which allow them to see how much waste they were producing, how was their performance in comparison with other users, with similar users, and actually to have some feedback. This was the purpose, to have some feedback about their behavior. So to get to create the notion that their actions were good and they were having impact. They were being observed and that they were having impact. So, and Aveiro municipality built on this and provided, integrated these dashboards on their PAYT pilot. So there were many, this was based on dashboards agreed with the municipalities. They presented key indicators that were relevant for each municipality and also for citizens. There were different views for us as administrators, for municipality staff, and for citizens. A different integration was done, for instance, in Condeixa. In case of Condeixa Nova, so Condeixa adopted a different platform along the way. So it started evolving their PAYT strategy, and somewhere in the middle or more or later in the project, they adopted a PAYT platform provided by an external vendor, which brought many issues. Not that their strategy was wrong, was correct, but once again, this is a very dynamic situation right now. There are no clear interfaces, integration methods, so the standardization is lacking in this area. We needed to adapt what to provide. In the case of Condeixa, they are their own interfaces. So the purpose here was to get data and into the data lake and make the data available for processing and actually for open data and for replication. Similar strategies were followed for Lisbon, Larnaca, and Galicia, with the difference that in Condeixa we have actual access to the data feed. In the case of the remaining municipalities, due to the lack of resources, maturity of the solutions that were being integrated, and also because these little things of integrating software and coordinating and normalizing the data models, they require a serious level of resources. So in this case, we integrated data from snapshots that were provided. So based on the different municipalities, we have from a few months to a few years, actually, of data that is related to the PAYT to the PAYT deployment in each of the municipalities. When integrating these data, the things that we found, or at least that requires some work, was, for instance, how the municipality managed their waste. So it was based on shared waste containers or dedicated waste containers. Were the municipals directly involved, citizens directly involved or not? So this changed. The result, which we are compiling right now, is to anonymize everything and publish this information in a data repository, which is already available. We are preparing data to be uploaded during this month. So that, and I guess Celia will talk about that, to promote and to enable a toolbox for facilitate PAYT deployments. Also, some of the components, core components, there are several contributions, are made available as open source so that they could help. So these are core components because everything that is related to a specific municipality is not here, but the software is functional, and we hope that it can help deployments. So to finish, some conclusions about from a technological point of view, at least in Portugal, in 2015, let's say, when the project really started, there were no turnkey solutions. From a technological point of view, it was really complicated to select a specific vendor for software, for waste containers, for taking consider what communication methods they were using. It was LoRa, it was GSM, what technology stack they were using. There is no standardization. I feel that this area is still evolving very, very quickly. We feel that having multiple PAYT initiatives, as we were doing, actually led to software vendors to offer software, so to create some new solutions. So we saw that the market is seeing this as an opportunity and is actually providing solutions. And I feel that the municipalities that wish to start right now will have an easier path to follow, because there will be more solutions that we had, let's say, 5 or 6 years ago. Still, we felt that there is a lack of activities not related with the waste management, but related with interoperability and open data. And vendors are always very keen on promoting their own ecosystem, but from a smart cities perspective, we need to have interoperability between solutions so that the municipality can build upon and create novel and adopt and integrate novel software components. And sometimes I don't know if this is correctly addressed, and it is something that is important. Just to finish my last slide. Well, we now are introducing GDPR into waste management, which was something that, at least from us, that started in 2015, creating this, or had a strong impact, which means that in the past, waste management was related to only volumes estimated by water consumption and so on. Now we can have a very detailed view, or a more detailed view on citizen behavior. So we can know where the user was at a given point, at a given moment, what habits he has. These kind of pilots increase the amount of data we collect. So from the GDPR perspective, there is the personal data that is now related to waste management and should be taken in consideration. So I would say don't forget that part. So that for us, it's all. We would like to once again thank you for the opportunity and address all the participants and say that try to promote these activities, but also do not forget about the technical support, the support tools, and which also requires some work. Thank you.
Thank you, Paolo, for the very interesting presentation. I know the difficulties, the challenges, and I think we need to refine certain things as we go along, apart from this project. Thank you so much. And I would like to ask our coordinator, Celia Ferreira, to give the final speech about the PAYT toolbox. And the floor is yours, Celia, before we close the seminar today. Okay.
Thank you very much, Maria, Professor Loizidou. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
One moment. Okay. So actually, I'm not really talking about the toolbox or only, because I don't have a lot of time, and so I'll just go very quickly through what I had to present and go to another issue, which are the legal bottlenecks, which I think is also very interesting. So if you indulge with me, I'll just try to be quick and so that we can finish on time. So the LIFE-PAYT project is preparing sort of a toolbox, uma caixa de ferramentas, a toolbox that is composed of different tools that will be made available to all the municipalities that wish to implement PAYT. And what are these toolboxes? What are the elements within this toolbox? First, we have a PAYT implementation guide. This is a guide that is now ready in its English version. We have not made it yet available because we are going to translate and adapt for Portuguese context, for the Greek context, and for the Cypriotic context. So we will have 3 separate guides, one in each language, and we will send shortly, when this is ready, this guide to all municipalities in Portugal. So for those who are here listening to us, you will receive a PAYT implementation guide if you wish to use it to help you to move forward. We also have a tariff calculator. This is based on our regulations in Portugal. So it's more targeting the Portuguese municipalities. We have all the regulating entity rules within it, but we have some adjustments. For instance, we have benefits for those who do home composting, in addition to just waste reduction. So this is also going to be made available. We have tested it with 2 or 3 municipalities, but we need to test it even further, and maybe by early January we'll release it. We also have available, as João Paulo Barraca spoke previously, a PAYT platform. It's the core components are open source. So if a municipality wants to use the same platform shown by the same portal shown by the previous speaker, he can just download the code. It's open, but of course, this needs adjustment to the municipality, so there needs to be some technical stuff related to IT and communications in the municipality that can develop the interface between the portal and the municipality. We also have a training course for elected officials. This is a very short video, 30-minute training course for those who decide, the political decisors, because I know that the technical staff is sometimes has to explain to their superiors what is PAYT, why is it important, what are the advantages. So we have prepared a short training course that they can use if they want to communicate either with the politicians or the other stakeholders in the municipality that are relevant. And finally, we have also a home composting course. This is a video that we registered in one of our composting actions, and it explains how home composting can be done. So if any municipality wants to show their population how to do home composting, they can use this video if they wish. And in addition to this toolbox, to these elements, we are also adding something related to the data protection and how the municipalities should address these issues, some guides, because during the project we had a lot of difficulties, and we solved a lot of problems related to these data protection regulations. So we would like to share our experience with other municipalities so that they can at least look at what happened to us and how some problems were overcome. Of course, because if you produce waste, it's very related to your personal data, how much you produce, when you go to the container to dispose of it, and stuff like that. That is personal sensitive information, so it needs to be really considered carefully. So this will be available in 1 or 2 months, this toolbox. So I just wanted to let you know so that you are aware. During our project, we have found that there are a lot of legal bottlenecks. We have tried to speak to different entities. We had several interactions, both in Portugal, Cyprus and Greece, with different stakeholders at the national level in order to express to them our concerns, what we have found. These are some of the entities we contacted. And I will just speak about very quickly, because we don't have more time, 2 or 3 constraints or legal bottlenecks. There are a lot of technical bottlenecks, but on top of that, we also have some legal ones. And it's important that it's not important, but I would really like to share our experience in these projects. And the major constraint that we found actually is about the procurement procedures. They take really too long time and are easily subject to complaints by opponents, other entities applying to the same tender. So we had a huge problem in the Lisbon pilot case, because initially we had a strategy to implement PAYT. It involved an international procedure, but because there were some complaints, we were expecting things to be solved, and eventually we gave up and we had to adapt our strategy because we have a limited time frame in the project. We had to adapt and move to a different strategy for PAYT because we could not move forward. Everything was blocked. So we have addressed this constraint in our meeting with the European Court of Editors and also with other entities, but this is a really huge problem, and I think it's increasing because now all the tenders are being, there are a lot of complaints, and sometimes it can block moving forward and things can take a long time. I'm not against the possibility of complaining. I think we should think how to, we should consider that this might be a possibility and try to make things as clear and transparent and right as possible so that there are no complaints. Then we have also the legal classification of a large waste producer in Portugal, grande produtor. Acima tem aqui pequeno erro que eu esqueci-me de corrigir. There is a small mistake here, about over 1,100 liters per day, and this excludes a large amount of the non-domestic sector, sometimes restaurants, shops, a lot of commerce produces much more than domestic user, but is not included in the large waste producer. And this should have some sort of regulation because they should be a priority of the PAYT tariffs, because they produce a lot of waste and much more than domestic producers. And in most cases, the municipalities don't even know that they exist. Sometimes they don't even know because they are not registered as commerce. Sometimes they are even registered as domestic users. So there should be something done about this. And then I think I have only 1 minute, so I think we think that we should incorporate in the tariff, we should embed significant incentives for those who demonstrate using composting as a waste reducing strategy. I know that if you compost, you produce less waste, so in fact you will pay less. But these incentives are not enough. Also because we in Portugal do not have a balance between how much the system costs and how much the municipality charge in the tariffs. So even though we should be between 90 and 110 sort of % of costs, there are no penalties for those municipalities that decide I will just charge €1 per month per household. And if you charge €1 per month per household, how can you say to these municipalities and to these people that with PAYT you will have to pay a lot more because you are not paying what the system really costs? So if you are paying a lot more than you usually pay, there will be a lot of complaints, and then this is a policy nightmare because politicians, of course, they like to propose measures that are welcomed by the population. They don't want to be, they don't want to introduce unpopular measures, of course. So I think the first step is that the cost should be real and people should know, should have the feeling of how much it costs to treat waste. And of course, there can be social tariffs. This is also important for those who don't have the possibility to pay. So I have some more, but I think I'll just, skip it, and because I don't have enough time. So we are preparing some, we are compiling all these sort of suggestions and recommendations, and we will send those to the authorities very shortly. And the same will happen in Greece and Cyprus. We are preparing some recommendations to share in order, because our aim is also that we have some impact, not only at the municipality level, but also at the policy making. So that would be, I think, one of the outcomes of LIFE-PAYT project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Celia, for the very interesting presentation and the bottlenecks of the project. And not only this one, we face this, similar problems nearly in every project, from the tenders. If you come to my university to see a tender that takes 3 years, and if you go to a municipality, it might take even longer with all these complaints. But I think we reached we managed to finalize our project, and a lot of information now is there. And we'll be very much interested to see these suggestions you are really making, and we are going to present to us, and of course to pass this to the municipality, the policymakers. I'm going to make one statement that unless we have high landfill tax, no mayor will put any extra cost to the citizen because they want to get re-elected. This is for sure. So the landfill tax and the levy is the only way really to push recycling. We've seen others.
Yes, in Portugal, that's what is happening. We are going to increase our landfill tax by...
If it goes there, then the only way is to really recycle our waste, and then eventually the cost will go down. Initially, you have to make investment. We've seen this during the presentation, but eventually we've seen countries that they really did a lot on recycling. They managed to bring the price down because the landfill tax is very high.
Yes.
So I think this is a way we have to move forward, and we have to be, I mean, we have to also persuade the policymakers and the people that really have the responsibility for waste management. That is one way, and this is the way forward. And we are supporting them to choose the technologies that they fit them best. And that's what we did with the PAYT project. We see different schemes in different municipalities. For example, in Vriliska, they want to put, they want certain scheme for the recycling. In Cyprus, a different scheme. You have a different scheme. There is no only one scheme. So it's good for the municipalities to choose the best for them. And I think the PAYT project gave a good alternative on that. Also, the platform, the information, the real-time information is there available, and probably on our mobiles, you can see with an application how we are performing. Of course, we have the GDPR. We have to see how we can get over it. I don't want to take more of the time. Celia, the floor is yours to close the conference.
Well, it's been a pleasure to be here with you, Maria, sharing this workshop. I would like to thank all the speakers that joined us today, and also those who are attending. I hope it was a very useful workshop. And this is one step ahead for all of us. We don't have the answers for everything, even though we are working on this for 5 years now. There are some municipalities that are in this for longer than we, and there are a lot of answers we need to get and find paths. The contribution of Project LIFE-PAYT is just a small contribution amidst everything that has been done. At least we tried it to make it as open as possible as a project. And we try to make it as useful for all the municipalities and for all the academics and researchers that are working on this subject. We have a long way ahead, I think. We still have a long way to go, but the project is closing now. But of course, we will be available for cooperation with everybody that wishes to ask us something about our experience and our feelings. And we'll keep the door open for those who wish to collaborate with us. Do you want to say something more, Maria?
I just want to thank everybody and my students who attended this workshop today, and because we had the lectures parallel, so I asked them to join, and I think they enjoyed it much as what they had. And we need to continue and spread around the success of the PAYT project. This is our target now. So
yeah,
there is a work ahead of us, and of course, don't forget the LIFE project program that will be open very soon, to continue on that line to bring more infrastructure to the municipalities and to continue this recycling at source.
Yes, and
Thank
also,
you so much.
Yes, and also a final word for our co-funder, the European Commission and the LIFE Environmental Program, because without them, all these activities would not have been possible. So yes, this is it was very important to have this co-funding. Thank you all, and hope to see you again in the near future. And bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.